Give me that countdown.
3, 2, 1.
And we are live. This is one of those episodes, okay? One thing about Chris and I, we don't really do the hating. We literally enjoy the industry. We enjoy music. We enjoy podcasting. We enjoy the media. Like, whatever we enjoy, we enjoy. Mm-hmm. And there's so many people that, for whatever reason, it's like they got their picky choosy of who they want to like. I just enjoy it all. Like, it's a great thing.
If it's good. There's a barrier for entry for sure.
I don't think I would call myself a hater towards anything. I would probably call myself a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not watching this stupid shit, you know? But, hey, we got Vlad TV in the building.
Hello.
Vlad.
What's up?
How do you like to be referred to? DJ Vlad, Vlad TV?
Whatever, man.
What's the most comfortable for you?
I mean, Vlad, DJ Vlad, Vlad TV is fine. Like, I get called Glad. You know?
That's probably your least
Shout out to Crunchy Black. Glad became a thing, you know, that a lot of people run with. So whatever y'all want, man. I'm easy.
How you feeling?
Good, man.
Thank you. I want to say thank you for a couple things, right? Thank you for giving us the opportunity, but more importantly, thank you for letting us beat Bootleg Kev. Because he was on the podcast the other day and he spoke about that he wasn't able to get the podcast done. So I'm just gonna we're just gonna act like we won and we beat him. You know what I mean?
Well, we spoke afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, because they sent me because he had mentioned that before, right? I think with a Rory interview, he talked about how he had reached out to me, and I turned him down at the time. But the problem was, me and Kev got on the phone afterwards, and I'm like, listen. You could tell that story if you want. That's fine because that really happened. You reached out to me and I hit you back and I'm like, listen, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Like, your platform isn't big enough at this point, but I see what you're doing, so just keep in touch with me. The part of the story that I told him that he's misrepresenting was the time frame. Because when he was on this podcast, he said, yeah, Vlad hit me up last year, and I had to send him the text message and show that it was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
He was just starting out. He had almost like a brand new YouTube channel. And I'm like, if you're going to tell the story, just tell it in the right context. Yeah. You know, you had a brand new YouTube channel, and you reached out, and I'm like, yo, listen, like, not right now, but just stay in touch with me, and we'll do it later. And at the end of our conversation last night, I was like, you know, after the new year, hit me up, and we'll put it together.
That's dope. And I would love to see that.
Yeah, and I think that, like, 99% of the time, people will just ignore you. They just won't answer your text, or they'll change the topic or whatever else. But I'm like, yo, I see what you're doing. I respect it, so I just want to keep it 100 with you and explain to you why I'm turning you down right now. And it's not a no, it's just a not right now. And, you know, since that time, he's built up and gotten a lot of big guests and got more followers and more traction. And I'm like, all right, cool. At this point, it does make sense for us to do it.
Which is, again, it's going to be super dope.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
And again, it makes me feel good. It says we did enough.
You did
you know what I mean?
Punch. Yes.
You know, we did do enough. And it's a tough space. I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. I feel like of all the people doing what we do, I think we've learned from you the most.
Really?
Yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Okay.
Like,
thank you.
Because we respect the craft, right? So we're obviously stealing some of the formula. You know, we're sitting there chopping it up and learning how to do that. And when we're putting these interviews out and we're chopping it up and we're like, oh shit, we're actually making a lot more money doing it this way.
Yeah.
The one thing that we do that most people probably wouldn't do is we just go live. The people get the opportunity to get it direct without us getting a dime off of it. But we like the realistic side to it, you know, like no chopping out. People just get to sit in the room. They get to ask questions with us, you know, just giving that type of energy.
Yeah.
What you got going on there with the mic?
Yeah, we have a little mic issue.
It's the cord is here, just so you know.
No, it's the piece at the bottom. That's the thing.
Yeah. There we
There
go.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. So yeah, it's a tough industry. I feel like people like to target you.
Yeah, comes the territory.
How does that, like, I'm sure you've been asked the question a million times, and I'm sure you have your own way of dealing with it, but I just don't think it's fair. And Orlando, well, you were talking about this earlier, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to speak on this interview because you were talking about how you feel about the way he's represented
Yeah, I feel like people give Vlad a bad rap all the time because that whole feds thing and all. I think what it is, more than anything else, is the way that investigations in general have changed. Like, for instance, I think it was, I want to say it was Robert Blake, the one that killed his wife and then killed someone else. They made an HBO special about it. And the last episode, they dropped like this call of him confessing to it. And the next day, the feds came and got him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the same thing happened again with the next CM.
Right. Well, you know, but that's a little bit of a different situation because I heard about this. I didn't watch it, but someone explained it to me. He was on a hot mic.
Right.
And he went to the bathroom and confessed on a hot mic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So when
Still
I
counts.
have one of my guests come on the show and they want to go outside and have a conversation, we'll turn off the recorders.
Right.
We've done it every time. Like my cameraman, like, yo, his mic's still on. Turn that shit off.
Just as a courtesy.
Right.
Turn it off. That's not what we do. We don't do secret recordings. We're not going to catch you unaware. Like, you sit down in front of me, whatever you say, you know, that's going to come out.
Yeah.
You got, you know, a mic pointed at you. You're also wearing a lav mic. You've got 3 cameras pointing at you. There's no, there's no question as to this is being recorded right now.
Yeah. There's no sleight of hand.
Yeah, so I don't, you know, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just don't want to be compared to that because he got caught on a hot mic thinking he's just going to the bathroom by himself. You're not supposed to be recording someone when they go take a piss.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of grimy, and that's not what
definitely
we do.
grimy.
Yeah. We don't secretly, like, you've never heard me put out a phone call that I did with somebody unless it's an interview, and at the start of every interview I say, this is being recorded. You cool with that? Yes. Boop. This call is being recorded. And then, you know, like a jail interview or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make that distinction in terms of how I do business.
No, I understand. The point I was trying to make is not even so much the recording part, but the fact that the police waited for the content to drop and then they acted upon it. So I think that's just the nature of investigations now. Same thing with that Nexium case. The same thing. Cesar finale dropped. They went and arrested the dude. So I think that they're just investigations in general are now looking at content, social media, documentaries, all that, and you're just doing your due diligence as a journalist, and it's not your fault that people are acting on it. And I think that you shouldn't really be commingled with that. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the only interview that I've done that I heard is going to be used for a case is the Keefe D case, but he wrote a book.
Right. Exactly.
And he also went on a whole run.
He then went on. I mean, but we did the first real interview with him. I'm not going to say that, you know, this was after his run. No, I think he did something with BET, like something real short. But this is the first real interview. But that whole interview was based on a book that he had publicly put out.
Wow.
So if you're going to talk about an open case in a book, I could interview you about that book.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I feel like you're probably one of the only journalists interviewing him that actually read the book.
Yeah.
Like you just go to that level and people hold it to you for no reason.
Our like my research, I feel, is like, I don't know anyone who does as much research. Maybe like Nardwuar or someone. Like, you know, I think he's dope. But like, I mean, I'll spend days researching, watching every other interview, reading every article, calling people that might know the person I'm interviewing. Like I interviewed Vanilla Ice today. I called them DOC. They grew up around each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they knew each other. I didn't get a lot of info in this particular case, but it's like, okay, I got a little something. And you know what I mean?
Due diligence. That's
yeah. And I think in hip hop, a lot of people don't do that. People just want to sit down and kind of vibe with the person. Yeah. And that's cool. That's someone else's style. It's just not my particular style.
It definitely shows in the quality of stuff that you put out.
Thank you.
You know, the way the questions are proposed, it's like, it's great. It's flawless. You know, that's why people love it. And you can watch it in not just an entertainment way, but an informative way too.
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
You know? I love podcasts that feel like a book, where I leave with something that I didn't come in with. That's what I like to do. I like to appreciate that kind of work. And your work shows just that.
Thank you.
But with those rumors, and this is probably the last we'll speak on that, do you feel like a responsibility to explain yourself or defend yourself? Or like, it's just like, I know what I'm doing. So
but you know, if I'm doing an interview and I do, you know, like people think I'm just always behind the camera. Like I've just done Breakfast Club. I just did Academics again. Like doing Jason Lee's show. Like, you know, like I did Pierce Morgan. I do a lot of stuff, like especially right now. And if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna answer it. You know, it's fine. You know, you know, whatever audience you may have may not know the answer. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting right now with a new audience. Now, there's probably some overlap, but it's still, there's a chunk of the audience that's getting to know me for the first time, so I don't mind questions that I've already answered and so forth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that, the question that I'd like to ask you is, how did this all begin for you? And what I mean by this is, you know, for me, or for an artist, if I'm asking them, how did the music begin? You know, like, was it at home that they started listening to music? What do you think about your upbringing made this who you are?
I mean, it depends on how far you want to go back. You talking about video? You talking about you know, hip hop? You talking about my upbringing? You know,
The whole upbringing.
The whole upbringing.
Yeah.
I was an immigrant kid from, at the time it was Russia. Now it's Ukraine because things changed in that country. I came over at 5 years old, and where I grew up was not a Russian neighborhood. It was in San Mateo, where I was the only Russian kid, period. And you got to understand that at the time,
I was going to say the time
we were in the Cold War. The U.S. and Russia was in a Cold War, and I was like kind of hated at the time. I was the only Russian kid. I'm named Vlad, a very Russian name. I was like Mark or Chris, you know. So it was very obvious that I'm Russian, and it was, you know, a lot of fights, a lot of disrespect, a lot of people saying I could kill you because you're Russian and nothing will happen to me, and this type of fuck shit. And because of that, me and the, you know, the black kids and the Spanish kids and the Filipino kids started to just kind of group with each other because we were all going through the same type of bullshit. Yeah. And, you know, right around 5th grade, hip-hop became a national phenomenon because I was living on the West Coast. You know, it started earlier in New York, of course, but then, you know, breakdancing, the New York City Breakers, the movie Breakin', the movie Beat Street was starting to kind of take, it was starting to take Electric Boogaloo, Ozone, you know, but Beat Street, what I thought was the really dope, the really great movie that came out during that era. And, you know, Run DMC's first album, White Lines, and it was like, I started really getting into hip-hop, I started getting into breakdancing. You know, I'd have to go to the store and just buy any hip-hop vinyl, sight unheard, just because that's all there was. There was no hip-hop on the radio. And I started breakdancing. I started kind of this love for hip-hop.
No way, okay.
Yeah, during that time. And, you know, that continued, you know, when NWA, Eazy-E first dropped, it was like that a resurgence of like, wow, like this is so dope. You know, the production
so
and
different
the quality.
too.
Yeah, they got me more and more into hip-hop. I went to UC Berkeley, and at the time, that's when hieroglyphics was blowing up in the area. This was like about 91, 92, 93. So for the first time, I'm actually seeing real rappers that are signed to major labels hanging out on Telegraph Ave, like right in front of me. I'm actually seeing real rappers, and I'm meeting local rappers at the time, like my man Jimmy XL, All the King's Horses, like some of these groups. And I started making beats and started putting together like little demos, and they weren't very good, to be honest. They
well, at first you emulate first. And then
I emulate, and I kind of stuck with the production and everything else like that. But you reach this point where you're like, I'm probably not going to be great at this. Like, I'm listening to DJ Premier, and my shit doesn't sound nearly as good, no matter how many
tough comparison.
months I'm spending on listening to you know, Dr. Dre, and I'm just like, I suck. And that sort of continued, and you know, you get a little bit of, you know, you start to kind of get a little discouraged. And there was this house party. I just moved into this new big apartment in Emeryville, California, overlooking the water, and I had this house party, and my man DJ Poison came over with turntables. And, you know, he DJ'd the party, and he left the turntable. He's like, I'll pick him up the next morning. So I, you know, the next morning I woke up, and I just started fucking around with the turntables, and it was like, oh, this is easy. Like, I was, because I'd been producing for so long, I'd had so much practice knowing how to count bars and how to, you know, time beats and everything. I'm like, I made a mixtape that day, like literally after maybe 30, 40 minutes of, well, yeah, it was just like, oh, I'm actually good at this. And, you know, I started, you know, some other shit happened, by 2002, by 2001, I started DJing full time, and I was doing it in the Bay, and I'm doing a lot of clubs, and I'm doing reggae shows, and I'm DJing for Barrington Levy, and doing some stuff. But it was like all the DJs I'm looking up to in the Bay, all are living with their moms, right? And this was not my aspiration. I'm like, if I am aspiring to be these guys and they're broke, this is not.
This isn't gonna work.
It's not gonna work. So 2002, I said, well, where's the epicenter of this DJ mixtape shit? Because that was what I was starting to do. I was the first person to release mixtapes on the internet.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
What site? Where?
2001.
Where?
Just out of my bedroom.
No, I mean like on the web. Like what?
On the web, I made a website, djvlad.com,
So you posted
and I started
wow.
uploading my mixes. This was kind of before, like maybe around the time of Napster or whatever else.
Yeah.
And I started taking these mixes and putting them online. I mean, these days everybody does it, but in 2001, nobody was doing it.
How many plays first week?
I don't know, but it started to move, right? I was a huge Cypress Hill fan, so I put together this dope Soul Assassin Cypress Hill project, and then people email me, oh, we're playing this in our youth center in Sweden, and like in Japan they're playing it. I'm like, oh, like this is actually moving, right? But I'm like, okay, to really take this seriously, I got to move to New York. So in 2002, I moved to New York to do this DJ shit full time. And at that point, I was completely broke, and I was essentially homeless. I'd met some promoters in New York, and they're like, well, we'll book you, and if you need a couch to stay on, you can stay on our couch in Brooklyn, in Flatbush. I'm like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'm 29 at the time, and I'm like, if I'm gonna take this seriously, this is probably the last point in my life that I could really take a stab at this, because everything has an era, right?
I see.
You could be a DJ starting out at 29. You can't be a DJ starting out at 49.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No one's going to take you seriously.
Similar to
Now,
rappers.
you could be a legendary DJ at 49,
Right.
but you can't be a starting DJ at 49. So I had
It's not a good look.
Yeah, I had to really go, all right, cool. Like, if this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this seriously. And I moved out, and I just started doing mixtapes full time. I started DJing full time. And within about a year's time, year and a half time, me and Dirty Harry, who was Nas's and Alicia Keys' DJ at the time, we put together the Biggie mixtape, the Rap Phenomenon mixtape, which was the first mixtape that really started to move for me to the point where like MTV put it on, and it was like you're driving around and cars are playing it.
That's my shit.
That's my shit.
That's me.
My shit, right? I mean,
go.
Double XL was, back when Double XL was important.
Yeah.
Did a whole article about it, and I was like, all right, we did the Biggie mixtape. We should do the Tupac mixtape. And just as a reference point, the Biggie mixtape was like we took a bunch of vocals and started remixing them on different beats, and also mixing his classic songs and.
Yeah, that's the type of
do a
music
bunch
I
of
fell in
shit.
love
Yeah.
with, is get those mixes.
Yeah, the blends and everything. That was because coming from the production, that was what I really liked to do, like the blends. So the next idea was like, all right, this Biggie mixtape was so well received. Let's do a Tupac mixtape, and let's bring in Green Lantern, who's Eminem's DJ.
Green Lantern.
Right? Who's from where y'all are from, right?
Yeah. I think so.
What? Yeah, or Rochester.
Okay.
Rochester.
Green Lantern was from
north.
Rochester?
Rochester,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying that.
It's not too far. It's
general.
about 30 minutes away from Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That same general.
Green Lantern.
And he's a big deal at the time. So we do this Tupac like kind of remix project, but in this time, instead of just taking the vocals and putting them on different beats, like, let's bring in artists. So we bring in like Alicia Keys, Jadakiss, Busta Rhymes, Wyclef, Bounty Killer.
This is
But I don't remember all of it, but like every song essentially had like a big feature.
Yeah.
Like Bun B, like everyone's sort of pulling in their favors and creating this like album almost that couldn't come out commercially because no one would be signing off. It'd be too expensive, whatever else.
Take forever.
And this won Mixtape of the Year at Justo's Mixtape Awards.
Oh, nice.
So now, like, I'm a known hip hop DJ, and now I'm touring to Japan and Middle East and Europe and, you know, everything else like that. And
Making a little better
yeah,
cheddar now.
a little bit better, starting to kind of build a mixtape business, you know, and that was cool, but it was also not bringing in that much money. It was also kind of illegal. So, you know, you're sitting there putting property in other people's names because you're worried that the feds might raid you and everything else like that.
That's right, for mixtapes.
Yeah, and me and DJ Drama were kind of coming up at the same time. Like, I think in the beginning I was maybe a little bit hotter than him, but then he started doing the Gangsta Grill, so then he became like the hotter DJ, you know. But we were sort of coming up at the same time. We're part of the same kind of freshman class. So it was like, all right, well, these mixtapes are going away, and then DJ Drama gets busted by the feds. And watching his, you know, BMW get put on the tow truck and his bank accounts get seized, I said, that's it. I'm done. I've managed to make a little bit of money without going to jail.
Time to pivot.
It's time to pivot. And then the pivot was to video, to DVDs. Me and Game, that was the first video project that I did. It's called The Devil's Advocate. Me, Game, and New Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil.
We did this. That was the first time I picked up a video camera, recorded it, and put out a project visually. And once again,
around what time is this? With
2000.
YouTube?
No. See, this was before. Maybe
still?
2005.
Okay.
Game's first album. If you look up, this was like kind of part of the promo run of his first album. Like West Side Story, I think, was out right at the time because that was on the because it was a mixtape and a DVD. And putting together video was like, oh, this is kind of like production. Once again, we're making mixtapes. Once again, except there's a visual and an audio aspect to it. But I've been
splice cut.
Splice cut. I've been doing this for years. I'm used to this, and so I started doing DVDs. This was kind of during the Smack era of those, the street DVD era, and it's like, okay, this makes a little bit more money, and this is kind of fun, and I'm doing more visual shit, but once again, DVDs started going away. Yeah. And you like, I'm in the same boat that I was at with mixtapes. And once again, it's not totally legal. There's some shit on there that shouldn't be on there. And then in 2008, YouTube started its partner program. And one of the guys at YouTube was actually a fan of my mixtapes.
Okay.
You know, and he was like, yeah, so he put me kind of on the fast track. And that program kind of helped me maneuver through that. And when that came together, I said, this is what I've been waiting for all these years. Yeah. Like a lot of times you sometimes have to just wait for the platform or the technology.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's just a timing thing.
That sounds like from the story, that's kind of how it was. From learning the science of music first, into the turntables, into the progression. You're picking up pieces as you go along.
Picking up pieces, and it's like along the way you're making all the relationships.
True.
And, you're already, rappers, producers, you've been to the record labels, you've built, you've known the people and everything else like that.
West Coast,
and
East Coast, overseas,
all that shit, and
sound like you knew YouTube too.
Well, yeah, and
That's an early
the
look.
part that I didn't mention was that out of high school I went to UC Berkeley and I got a computer science degree. So I learned
you're ahead of the curve.
The computer shit
Yeah.
that everyone else in hip hop doesn't know. You have to hire someone, and it's different when you hire someone, but you can't lead them or can't architect
I see.
because you don't know what's possible. But I knew what was possible, and it was like, now I'm going to build this system around YouTube, around the website that would go with YouTube, and me, my programmer that I hired, was just working together and just kind of building this up around that. And the idea was, like, you can't overflow YouTube, and there's never going to be a shortage of content that people want to see.
Yeah.
So let's just drop content every single day,
and just
365 days a year. That was the original idea. That 15 years later, it's still that same idea. Now it's 10 or 15 clips a day, but it's the same idea of dropping shit every day, chopping shit up, because people aren't going to sit in front of their computer for an hour and a half. Like, they sit in front of their TV or they go to the movie theater. So that that light bulb that went on in 2008 is the spark that kept going to where we are today.
Yeah. It's like when an artist puts out a single, if you hear the single, you like the single, it's like, wait, this is attached to an album? So if I catch part 24 and I'm like, this is sick, I'm like, well, shit, let me go
watch the whole thing.
Yeah. So and you're putting tokens into the algorithm, you're feeding the timeline. That was pretty genius pretty early.
Yeah, but it all falls down on the quality. If you put out stuff that people don't care about, you could chop it up a million different ways. Yeah. But it has to do with, like, I already saw the way things were going. You drop an hour-and-a-half interview, someone's going to pull out the best 5 minutes, and they're going to put it on their own platform and focus on that. So I'm like, why am I going to let someone else do that? And I don't benefit from that. Let me do that. Yeah. And then let everyone else embed my shit. Yeah. And that's the idea now. It's a more aggressive way of doing things. Because, you put out the whole interview and you say, Boosie interview, and that's it. If someone else does some shit, you can say, well, that wasn't me. But with my shit, it's like, nah, it is me. Yeah. I'm going to title every 5-10 minutes and focus on something that will get people to actually watch that. Because otherwise it'll get buried somewhere, 48 minutes in.
Yeah, so capture those moments.
Capture the moment.
The most annoying part is if you do a 3-4 hour sit down, somebody clips this 5-minute viral clip, and there goes the numbers, and yours is still sitting like, come on, why am I so stagnant? So I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, going viral doesn't mean being profitable all the time. You could go viral on TikTok on someone else's. You could have, like this happened. Like, for example, like when Gloria Valez interviewed Neo on our platform. He had a bunch of viral moments that were on TMZ, and this Twitter had 3 million views, but the clip itself is at like 50,000. No, not even 50, like maybe 30,000 views. The interview overall is losing money, and other people are benefiting from it. And yeah, it's cool for them, but we just lost money on this project, and there's nothing we could do about it.
And everyone's like, good job, Vlad. And you're like, yeah, thanks, but.
Yeah, so people like just having looks doesn't change things a lot. I mean, we go viral 6 times a year. Every year. This is not bragging. This is just the reality of our content. We go viral all the time. Like, it's not always us, our shit going viral. It'll be like a TikTok video or, the Shade Room or academics or whatever else. We don't always benefit from it. So you got to, you're trying to be famous or you're trying to run a business and have it grow. The two don't always go together.
So we've learned.
Yeah, which is kind of what we're doing right now, right? We're giving people the free content. They're gonna clip it out, take it, but it'll go behind the paywall after, But some people would have it, right? And then people frown upon you for having to pay. Well, why you making people pay for it? I mean, it's the wild thing about any industry that people don't understand how the finances work, and they just think. This is not fair, and then you look at the comments and they're like, "This is bullshit." They're trying to make money off of this. Yeah, I mean, I hope so.
It costs money to make this. Yeah. Like we're very protective of our content. Like a lot of, Instagram pages and Facebook pages got shut down that were just stealing our content wholesale. Would cut out our logo and throw in their big giant logo. Would not ask for permission. It's like we've literally spent millions of dollars creating this content. Millions of dollars. Like so some of these shoots are very expensive shoots when you count all the costs involved. And
can I recoup? Is it cool if I recoup? Like,
It's just like for them, it's just like, well, what's the big deal? It's like, no, it is a big deal. Oh, I'm just promoting you. I didn't ask you to promote me. This was not an agreement. Like when you see my shit on other people's platforms, there's usually an agreement in place. That agreement doesn't mean money. It just means like, all right, I'm gonna let y'all use it, respect it the way we use it, put up just a minute. Don't put it up on your Instagram and make it 4 pieces where the entire clip is right there. Like, I'll be like, hey, listen, this is not what we agreed on. Please take it down. Like, like a world star, they'll ask for permission. Yeah. And sometimes
pretty good about
yeah,
that.
Yeah, they are. They're a good company now.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes we'll say yes. Sometimes we'll be like, nah, it's not released yet, because sometimes, you know, we have a paywall also for the YouTube membership part of things, where you can get the full interview on the first day, early. And because of that, sometimes people will take a part that's not released yet and put it out, and then get sad when we get it taken down. You know, and it's like, oh, but I'm a fan, I'm a member. I'm like, being a member doesn't give you the right
Ownership,
to just
you're a guest.
You know, jump up ahead and do the shit.
And then like, Vlad, well, you did it with the mixtapes.
Yeah, I did, and I don't do it anymore. And you know, I knew that if I got busted, I wouldn't cry and say, "Oh, it's so unfair. This is hip hop. What's wrong with y'all?" Like, yo, I knew what I was in for. I had a whole mixtape business, and I remember like me and my partner would clash about this. I'm like, bro, this is illegal. Like, you want to build up some illegal shit to put us more on the radar of the cops. Like, hot. You know, and you're wondering why I'm not putting in as much effort as you. And at one point, I'm like, you could have it. I'm cool. Take it. You know, whatever. I don't want nothing out of it.
Good foresight, man. Some people don't know when to call it quits. Yeah. And, you know, the story with most criminals, I guess, is you don't stop. You think you're never going to get caught. You think it's all good. You actually get good at it. And then only then, that's when you start lacking and cutting corners. And you know, doesn't really, it ends up to your ultimate demise.
Right.
The beauty of it, of all of this, is you've really kind of given people like this how to make money off of this industry with everything that you've done. And I don't get why people don't just appreciate it. You know what I mean? And it's in all these industries, I feel like it's, you damn near have to wait until somebody's dying or they're at the end of their run to give anybody flowers. And us, for sure, we want to give you your flowers and thank you for all of the help that you've given us along the way without you even knowing. Mm-hmm. And you've done this for so many other podcasts as well. If you see the comments on anybody's page, as soon as it says part 1, part 2, part 3, and you look at one of the comments, like, you're doing what Vlad does. You know what I mean? It's immediate. Yeah. But they're also they found a way to be able to make money off of this and grow. Because of that, we've had a tremendous amount of content circulating around the internet. Do you ever feel like there are people that take your shit and just and hate on you for it still? Like, you know, the people that are out there that kind of dog Vlad TV, but they're following your formula.
I mean, occasionally, like I think Off the Porch did that, because I didn't even know that they were a platform. They were an interview platform, but I would see them posting up our videos and insulting me in the caption. Oh, wow. Like, look at this, you know, these fed-ass, police-ass questions, like something. And I got this shit taken down. And then it's like, oh, Vlad TV got my account shut down.
Or did you?
Like, you got your own shit shut down. Yeah, and I didn't even know they were a platform until later on. I'm like, oh, these are the dudes that were ripping my content, but they're doing the same shit. Uh-huh. And it was like, yo, this is so odd to me, because if you look at my history, I've always been so embracing of up-and-coming content creators. Charlemagne, ask him who gave him his first national look. Really? It was me. Okay. He was in South Carolina, and I put him on the Beef mixtape. Okay. Which was a nationally distributed. It was for the Beef DVDs.
Like a skit, or what was he doing on there?
He was beefing. It was about beefs, and he was beefing with Buffy the Body on his radio show.
Oh, we gotta run that book.
You could find it. You could, and it was like, I remember he called me. He was like, "Yo, man, I'm getting all these calls that you're on that I'm on this Beef mixtape." And you know, shortly afterwards, Wendy Williams got him on her show, and then you see where he is now. Boom. I'm not responsible for his talent, but I was the first person to recognize his talent outside of South Carolina before Wendy found him. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Academics, when I saw him buzzing, I reached out, like, yo, like, you're dope. Like, if you want to do anything, just let me know. If you need help, if you want to collab, whatever. This work. You know, we're always on each other's show now. Adam 22 of No Jumper, same thing. Had him on my show early. We've developed a friendship. We've developed a business relationship. Sean Cotton from Say Cheese, Jason from Hollywood Unlocked.
Come on.
I reached out to Jazzy, that little girl, the 14-year-old girl.
She does such a good job.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, congrats on your, if your dad or your mom ever want to talk. Let me be clear here. I want to talk to the parents. Please, here is my number, and have your parents call me. Her dad called me, and I'm like, okay, cool. And, we haven't done anything, but I'm like, congrats. Like,
that's big,
congrats on what you're doing. So like that, this is how I am. And so when I see a platform that's coming up that's hating on me, I'm like, this is dumb. Like,
right.
you would be better off. Yeah, you'd be better off fucking with me. You know what I mean? Like when Rory, like I think would hate on me when he was on Joe Budden shit. And it's like, okay, I understand that Joe doesn't like me, and there's a reason for that. Me and Joe have a 15-year history, but you're jumping on someone else's beef, and then you lose your job, and you like, I don't give a fuck about Vlad. And it's like, all right, but now you're not in this cool group of content creators that are really helping each other out and sharing business information and, working together and congratulating each other. Yeah. Like, it'd be like, yo, Ack, like, good job. Oh, Adam, shit. You just did your thing on it. Like, because you have to have that community of people that, praise each other. And
do what you do and
do
have
what
an
you
interest
do and have an interest because the industry is not going to always the industry is not going to really recognize who the movers and shakers are. They're going to go with their favorites. This is why you see the Carisha's winning 2 years in a row. She only puts out 4 podcasts, because the industry likes her. The industry, the whoever the voting and that particular thing was like, okay, hey, Puffy, we just voted for your girlfriend.
Hello.
Invite me to the white party. I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's probably what happened.
I think everybody thought it. So
yeah, it is what it is. But we're sitting here like, you gonna tell me the Keefe D interview is not is less important than the Carisha interviews, the one that solved the biggest. The murder of the greatest rapper of all time. I'm not even nominated. All right.
Give him his flowers.
That's cool. That's cool. But Ack would be like, yo, bro, like, good job. Like, wow.
No,
like,
we would tell you right now.
Yeah, like, yo, job, like, when you were telling me this 4 years ago, I thought you was just talking, and now look, you put the whole thing together. So, that's the whole thing. And a lot of these dudes is like, you can still reach out and talk to me and be like, whatever, all right, so you talk some shit, who cares? Like, we all talk our shit, we get over it, but people get their, in their egos and, oh, fuck him, I don't need him, when they're doing the same shit I'm doing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I saw Adam say the same thing. He was like, man, I tried to figure out your metrics, basically, is what he was getting at, and he's like, I see how you post, and, even I tried it, and I was like, damn, for me to catch Vlad, this was like a year ago or something like that, he was like, you're at 4.5. He's like, I think you got that. He's like, I think you're untouchable. He's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Fast forward, you're like another million up now.
5.7.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it's not shit compared to like Mr. Beast. 200 million.
Yeah.
So,
different lane though.
Yeah, well, but it's still the same platform. So you can't just, say that you can't get there. It's like you just haven't gotten there. Yeah, and you got to rethink it. Like I saw a post from his manager, and he said like one of the things that got him there was they translate into 15 different languages. They have overdubs for 15 different languages on every one of his videos. And it's like, okay,
I heard Gary V talk about that.
Yeah, it's all right. This is something that we're gonna look into, because you can't just say, well, he's different or he's whatever. No, like we're both doing content on the same platform. He's at 200. I'm at not even 6. So, and I've been doing it longer. Yeah. I've been doing it longer. So I can't just make excuses. I have to say, I still have a lot of work to do.
I was going to try to make an argument for age because a lot of his demographics are probably younger and they age with him and it just expands. But that gap there's no excuses. He's killing it.
Content is content, man. You can make all the excuses you want, but you have, if you put out a killer video, it's it does what it's supposed to do. Yeah. You could market it and you could put in hashtags and you could this, that, or the third, but the content will spread on its own. Like, we've never spent any money on advertising, ever.
Wow.
Ever. It's always been like, okay, this content will move if the content is supposed to move.
It's supposed to
and,
move.
you know, if it's, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you get the spark that is unexpected. Sometimes you think something's going to do well and it doesn't. Yeah. But most times you could be like, all right, like, when this drops,
it's going
this
down.
is going to do some shit. This is going to do some shit right here.
I was going to say, do you think you're still affected by the algorithm as maybe somebody like we would be? Or are you, I don't want to say you're above it. Nobody's above it, right?
No one's above it.
But I feel like
I brick just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not every interview I put out does well.
Does it hurt the same? Your bricks are 30,000, 50, you know, like.
Yeah, but you still lose money. I also have a bigger overhead than most people. I got 20 employees. I got an big office space in New York City, in Midtown Manhattan. I got, you know, full-time employees, not just contractors, you know, so that comes with health insurance and all the overhead. And
there's two for everyone, so it's like.
There's a CFO, there's an HR person, there's a billing person, there's lawyers. There's a lot.
Speaking of all that, what made you, like, how did you know when it was time to scale up to the big office and the 20 employees and all that? Or was it like trial and error?
It's just reinvesting. Really, it's like, all right, we're making money now. Am I just going to spend it on myself? Am I going to buy another these
car?
Cars? Yeah. Another pair of sneakers, another watch? Or am I going to reinvest into the quality? We were the first ones to really go 4K. Oh, yeah. Okay. Like, we were doing 4K before anyone was doing 4K. We do 3 cameras and a moving camera when most people do 1, maybe 2. You know, we're doing house features, car features. We're, you know, getting guests, you know, and paying appearance fees and so forth that the other people just can't pay. And sometimes we don't make that back, but it's a reinvestment into the company, into the brand. And ultimately, that's the scale up, to answer your question. It's like, yo, if we're making money, I mean, I do okay financially, of course, as the CEO. Right. You know, I'm compensated as the one who drives it, of course. But I'm not pocketing like 90% or, you know, or even anywhere near a huge percentage of the company. I'm cool financially. There's been years where I haven't paid myself because it's like, the company didn't do all that great this year. The employees have to get paid. Yeah. You know, and that's been one of the principles in the beginning is like the employees get paid every 2 weeks, no matter what. Never late. You know, no one could, you know, people could say what they want about me personally, or maybe things didn't work out as an employee of the company, but no one could ever say, and he owes me money. A motherfucker could quit, cuss me out that day, never, whatever, and they will get that check for the days that they work. Yeah, because it's like, yo, all right, cool. You won't be working for us again, but here's what we owe you based on the days that you worked. And and that means that as the CEO, you sometimes get paid last. You always get paid last, actually. Not sometimes, you always get paid last because you got to make sure everyone else gets paid first.
Business 101 here.
Yeah. Simon Sinek, Leaders Eat Last. One of the best books I've ever read. But it's, you know, this is something that's going on a lot now with the podcasting industry. When we had Brandon Marshall up here, he had I Am Athlete, and it was with Channing Crowder. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, I know the podcast. Yeah.
And, you know, they split up.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's gone?
It's a big thing right
now.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And so it was...
Started making money.
Wait, why did they split up?
He said they wanted, like, you know, he said he footed the bill. He took care of everything. He built the platform. He got them on there as co-hosts. And when it came to negotiations, they said, you know, according to him, that they want 25%. And he's like, you know, he was saying, can't really do the 25% thing.
It started out as for fun amongst friends. Hey guys, come on, let's chop it. I think you guys will be a great guest, and they ended up being permanent fixtures. But with that type of progression, it's amongst friends. You don't necessarily establish operating agreements out the gate.
Yeah.
And so now the podcast is successful, and we have bills, and we're figures now, and other people are giving different evaluations. So what is my worth, and how's that going to work out? So
yeah, I mean, happened with Joe Budden, right?
Precisely.
Same type of thing. I try to make it very, very clear that I'm the owner of the content. There's no partners, there's no shareholders. But then I've always paid from the very beginning, and that's how you avoid that situation, is that you pay people from the very beginning, so they're not thinking that, oh, later on we're all going to be partners. Now, if you start out as partners, that's fine. I'm not saying partnerships are good or bad or whatever. It's just not for me. That I've always just paid everyone. They get paid first off everything. And if I make money off the stuff they get paid off, cool. If I lose money, they still get paid. Mm-hmm. And that's how you keep it clean.
Yeah.
You don't, and that's
hearing this. Nobody owes nobody. All debts are settled.
Yeah, hearing this, like, this is the first time I'm hearing about this whole I am out there, because I've seen them, we've interviewed some of the same people. So it's just like, damn, that's too bad.
Yeah, man.
And he's still moving forward.
Yeah, so he'll probably get he'll probably get new co-hosts. Mm-hmm. And they could go and start their own platform and see how hard or easy it is. It's not really easy.
Yeah. That's what's on the table now.
But not to say they can't do it.
Right.
Maybe they'll blow up bigger than him. Who knows? But it's too bad that they didn't have a clear-cut understanding, because I understand why they would ask for it, and I understand why he would say no, and unfortunately they couldn't find a middle ground.
Yeah, that's a tough part.
What's interesting is I think he's taking this on his own, and from my perspective, it may be to kind of prove them wrong. So I don't know if that's the best decision, but it's going to be interesting. It'll be dope to see how they both.
We'll see who the star is. I mean, clearly with the Joe Budden podcast, Joe is the star. Right?
I hated to see that, man. I didn't want to see them split.
But he's still doing well.
Right?
He's still a factor. Yeah. And, it's too bad that he had that situation, regardless of what me and him went through or the threats that went or whatever.
What is the situation between you and him for the people that don't know?
The situation, and it's interesting, and I think that me and Joe are at this place now where we both realize that what was so shocking back then is just standard issue right now. Yeah. And I think Joe understands that. I heard him speak recently about how, even though we don't rock together, he watches some of my clips and he respects the work that I put in. And likewise. Yeah. I mean, I don't rock with him, but I could see what he does and so forth. But the situation was, me and Joe had done one interview, and it was cool. We put it out. And then Joe was very heavy on YouTube during this time, and him and Tahiri were doing shit and so forth. And he started beefing with this rapper in New Jersey called Ransom. Yeah. Who I hadn't heard of at the time, but the two of them had some sort of history, and he was dissing Ransom on his own YouTube channel. So we hit up Ransom and said, hey, did you want to do an interview and respond to this? And he's like, hell yeah. And his response was a little bit nasty, which caused Joe to physically approach him, like go get some guys and then go like physically do something to him. And then his response to that was to get his crew together and go to Joe Budden's man's house and slap him on his front porch. And he provided the video to us. Ransom did this one story on Math Hoffa saying that I was the cameraman or some weird shit, which was not true. I was not there. I would not have gone along with this craziness. Yeah. We were provided the video. I was not the cameraman at all. And I don't think he remembers this properly, but I was not. You watch the video. You don't hear my voice in any of it, right? Let me just be clear. So anyways, this whole thing escalated, and Ransom, because of what had happened, I think he had shot off his gun. He ended up going to jail and whatever else. And Joe was blaming me for this without taking responsibility for his role in it, I felt. So it was kind of like a fuck you both ways. Yeah. It's like, I understand my role in it, but you're not understanding your role in it. A war of words, if it escalates to physical, that's on you. And if you're the one that takes it to the next step, you have to deal with the repercussions of that. You and I could talk shit about each other all day long, and there's no harm, no foul. At one point, we can get over the shit. But once it gets physical, it is what it is. And this started a 15-year back and forth of both of us telling us to go fuck each other back and forth, and us taking shots at each other. And, I did some things that, some interviews I probably shouldn't have done, and he did some interviews talking some shit he probably shouldn't have done. And it is what it is. But at the end of the day, both of us became successful. And I think that these days, if a rapper disses another rapper and a platform goes and interviews the rapper who just got dissed, this is so common. Yeah. But back then, it just wasn't done. I was one of the first. How dare you do that? And then, you know, you want to use the racial aspect or whatever the fuck else because you don't want to take responsibility for what it is you did. Whatever. Like we were younger back then. This was 14 or 13 years ago. It's like, yo, we've all grown since then, and we've all done well. And, you know, at some point, me and Joe might talk. He said he wanted to do a podcast, with me on academics platform, and my thing was like, I'm not against that idea, but him and I need to have a real conversation first and foremost. Yeah, and I'm open to that. I'm open to me talking to him and like just hashing it out. You know, and he may or may not want to do that. Yeah. You know?
Joe Budden is. I've always been a huge Joe Budden fan, so when you brought that up, I remember the entire thing. Right? Yeah. And Joe Budden is extremely emotional.
Yeah.
So you definitely have to have a conversation with him prior, because he's somebody that could just go on academics with you and then just go the entire
go left. Well, you know, on academics, I could at least, based on my relationship with academics, I could be like, you're gonna just cut all this shit out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know that he will because
be a good moderator.
Yeah, because he's a cool moderator. But like, I'm not gonna sit down with him, you know, without first talking to sort of test the temperature. Because I've had, you know, me and NLE Chopper were going at each other's throats at one point. We had a conversation, worked it all out. So we had a great interview based on that conversation. Nice. But yeah, I'm not going to sit down with someone who I have active beef with and just hope for a good result. I'm not here for trying to get a viral moment or whatever else. Like, yo, like we're not doing this. Yes, entertainment is entertainment, but if there's some real issues, we got to talk it out like men, and pretty much almost anyone that I've had issues with, I could talk it out with them.
Nice. Good.
Now, you had a lot of, most of the best interviews, right? And the most in-depth interviews. You've interviewed everyone. If you were to say like your MVP list, what's your favorite person? Who's your favorite person to interview?
My personal favorite, like the person that I really enjoyed the interview with. That's a good question.
It's quite the roster.
Yeah. I think the Smokey Robinson interview was special.
Okay.
Like this was probably the most musically accomplished human being
that's
that I've ever sat down with. You know, like going back to like the 50s, and the Motown impact.
Goosebumps.
And like I'm sitting down with Smokey Robinson, which, you know, doing a life story piece on him that he's never done.
I see.
And this is something that's like special.
It's nerve-wracking.
You know, like, yeah, he might get a documentary at some point, but hearing the first person perspective from beginning, you know, from birth to where they are now is special. Yeah. And Smokey is special.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Being a student too, it's like, man.
Yeah.
Like you probably couldn't tell people how much that meant to you. You
yeah,
can't, like,
I mean, from the voice to the songwriting to the involvement in Motown. He was the president of Motown for a while.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
To the relationship with Marvin Gaye, to Diana Ross, to all this. It was like, yo, like this is
heavy.
This is heavy. That's probably definitely one of them.
One. Yeah. Do you have like a 2, 3? I'm not gonna make you go to 5.
No. Okay. I mean, obviously the Keefe D interview was important.
Yeah,
that was important because it was like,
just
not only did we have the book, but we had all the different perspectives from that night. We had Idi Amin from the Outlaws in the car behind Tupac. We had the first responder, Chris Carroll, who showed up. We had, you know, Mob James, who was the street security that night, that gave his perspective. We have Greg Kading, who was the one that got Keefe to confess, and his investigation of it. It's like putting these puzzle pieces together with someone that's really speaking about this for the first time and solving at the time, which was the biggest, you know, the greatest rapper of all time with an unsolved murder. You know, like dispelling all the rumors, you know, actually telling you what happened and why it happened from the very beginning of the situation to the situation itself to what happened afterwards was important. Yeah. That was an important one.
Yeah, this is forever.
Yeah, it's forever.
Like this is going
thought.
into a movie.
Yeah.
This is a big deal, and I don't know how many people really understand it in that way. But this
a lot of it is a big deal. That's like every time I sit down with somebody, it's a big deal. This is immortalized for future generations. This is beyond my lifetime. And I and I understand that. And I treat it as so. It's not, we don't just sit down and wing it. Like there's a people think it's easy, but go sit down with a total stranger for 2 hours and create a story in real time that is an engaging story that really, will live on for, forever, and see how easy that is to do. Yeah, it's
because the gift of gab is that it's a gift, right? But that'll only take you so far.
Yeah, no, the conversation is the conversation. I mean, there's lots of great conversationalists, but you're creating a story. It's very surgical. It's very planned out. It's there's a blueprint. There's a story arc. There's a beginning. There's an end. There's a
key character.
There's twists and turns, and you have to know the story. The person will take you off into their own tangents. A lot of people complain, "Oh, you interrupt your guest." That's because I'm trying to tell a story, and if I let them talk, they're going to start going into their clothes collection, and I'm
on Vlad TV.
yeah, and what they think about the president. And it's like, no, that's cool, but let's get back to what I'm trying to do here in this short period of time. So it is always important, and it's nerve wracking, and it's I'm nervous sometimes, and it's like, okay, I got one chance to get it right
For the money, baby, let's go.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm more sitting here right now in awe that we're interviewing Vlad because of what you're saying right now.
He's real humble right now, by the way.
No, because of the way he's saying this. Like I'm in there. I'm like, damn, we're in the middle of the story right now, and we're listening to how he really breaks it down. That is something that I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. We're not gonna be that good as he is at that because it's a different lane for sure. We have the conversations with individuals, and we more or less do wing it. You have an entire layout of how it works. That's incredible because you could see it through the interview when you're watching the interview. You just don't know that this person is really there putting in this whole layout there. Yeah. Like this is exactly how it's gonna.
Well, think of it as like a song, right? Think about it as like a rap song. Are you gonna have one hot bar in every verse, or does every bar have to be on point for it to be a great song? If you're just wasting time and then something hot, then wasting time and then wasting time. Okay, here's another hot line and waste. Mm. It's not going to be a hot song. It's going to be a filler. Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking. Like a great movie, every scene, like you watch a Scarface, there's so many memorable parts. Yeah. It's not just one scene that you remember and you forget everything else. Like there's so many quotables and so many parts. Every scene is meticulously, like the Coen brothers are so good at this. One of my favorite producers, directors. Like you watch like movies like Hudsucker Proxy. It's like every scene is so intricately crafted, and they spend so much time on every single part to create this great work of art. That's how you should approach it, as opposed to, there's a little bit of hot shit here and everything else is just you fast forward it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the effort definitely shows. Like, has anybody ever approached you, or you ever thought about like doing a specific documentary on somebody that you?
I've done documentaries. I did my first documentary was Ghost Ride the Whip. I did one of the episodes of American Gangster on Mac Dre, and that at the time at least that business wasn't something that I really was really into. It was a lot of work. Like a documentary is a lot.
Do you mean for him to execute the documentary, for a documentary of and or on him.
Well, like to execute, like
To
first
execute,
instance.
yeah. I understood what you said.
Because I was thinking about like the Fred Williamson interview and like the way that was articulated, put together.
Right.
I feel like I knew his whole life story.
It was a movie,
yeah,
right?
and it was in his own words, and like you're articulating, you did it for posterity, and you could tell it's that way.
Right. I did John Witherspoon's last interview. His only life story piece. This is one of my heroes. This is probably one of y'all heroes.
Yeah,
right.
of course.
John Witherspoon, Ops from Friday.
Coordinate.
Coordinate. I was top of the mushroom belt.
Yeah.
You find out all that was ad lib.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
You found out that the mushroom belt and the jacket was something he picked out of the wardrobe room.
Yeah.
And Eddie Murphy just had him, and it's like I love Boomerang. That was one of my favorite all-time Eddie Murphy movies.
I worked at I say this probably every other episode. I worked at the improv comedy club for 10 plus years. So I had the pleasure of meeting a lot of these guys, John Witherspoon being one of them. And he's one of those guys that you meet and you're like, oh, you're really like this.
You really like this.
You're not like I always refer to like Pauly Shore. Pauly Shore did a movie and he got stuck being that guy.
Yeah.
You know, so every time they see him, they want him to be that guy. John Witherspoon is who he is.
He's that guy.
He really dresses like that. He really.
He's that guy. And it's but to answer your question, it's a lot of work and it ended up being not a lot of money. And I've never seen a royalty check to this day. Wow. And it was like that was the motivation to actually put my effort into YouTube, because it's like I just don't like this business model of putting together. You know what? It did turn out to be some dope art, but you're going through so many of these crooked distribution companies. If you watch, you remember the Fred Williamson interview. He said he who counts the money first counts the most money. A lot of times they don't tell you how much they count, and you just, all right, here's your advance.
Be grateful.
Be grateful. What's your next project? And it's like, well, fuck this next project. I'm gonna own my own shit. I'm gonna put my own shit out, and YouTube is more transparent and allows you to keep ownership. And it just seemed like a much better business model to me. So that's why, a company did approach me to do a documentary recently that I would be like a producer or a part owner in. I'm not going to say what it is because it's not, it's not there. But that's the whole thing. Like I'll do something with maybe a bigger production company, but I have to be a part owner. I cannot be like that dude that they pay. That it's like at this point, like we don't license hardly anything.
Right.
I turned down a lot of documentary offers just because I just
it's not necessary.
It's not necessary. Yeah, I don't care. The publicity is whatever. Yeah.
So unless it's the Coen brothers, come correct. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please come correct.
Yeah, but like if the Hughes brothers asked me, be like, no, I'm fans of these dudes. I just interviewed them. It's just like, I'm Dear Mama. Like I remember, just as someone who does documentaries or does documentary type content, I remember hitting up Alan Hughes, and I'm like, this is so dope. Like the way you put this thing together is just amazing. How you use the lyrics with the sparse beats and the flashbacks to tell the story a certain type of way. It was like just brilliant. These guys are dope, but they haven't been compensated for how dope they are, because they've always had to go through these bigger companies, and by the time it trickles down to them, these dudes should be worth hundreds of millions of dollars and should be rich as fuck, and I just don't think that's the case, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Like they haven't, they're not, because they have to work through these bigger systems, because what they're creating involves a lot more money and so forth. So everyone has to choose their own way in what they do.
Yeah. For just a few stories that you've been telling us, you have an amazing foresight. You have an ability to see the way things are trending, the way things are going, and you navigate accordingly. That pivot foot is not the Vlad pivot foot is nasty. You know what I'm saying? But where does that come from? You're not born with a business mindset.
You think ahead a decade. Since I was a kid, I was thinking ahead a decade. I planned on being here for a long time on this earth. I plan on living, to 100 if possible. So that doesn't just happen on accident. You have to plan for that to actually occur. Right. So, you know, in my teens, I was planning for my 20s, which meant that, okay, I got to get certain types of grades. I have to take the school shit seriously. I have to get into a top university, which I did. And then, you know, you get into the university and you got to pick, all right, are you going to be an American history major with a questionable, you know, employment track, or are you going to learn something that is actually important, that is going to be useful, like computers? You know, and then you start your business, you know, you realize, okay, this is where, you know, my 20s, or I'm planning for my 30s, you know, okay, at the end of my 20s, I'm like, all right, like I'm going to do the music shit. I have to do it now because, you know, like I said earlier in the interview. And yeah, you know, in my 30s, like, listen, I could be a DJ right now if I was like, because I mean, I love DJing.
Sick.
You know what I'm saying? I
can tell you still talk about
music.
music.
Like, I love rocking shows. I love having Billboard, DJ Vlad, and Bahrain, a huge billboard of my name, and doing the shows and the girls and everything else like that, and going country to country, and that, like, that's dope. But, like, it wasn't a serious career track. So you're thinking, what are you going to do next? Yeah. And a lot of it is trial and error. You know, like, I'm 50 right now. I've been financially planning for my 50s. In my 40s, I've been investing. You know, I've been taking the money, the profits I make, you know, from Vlad TV, and investing them in the stock market, and, you know, maxing out my 401k, and doing things that would get me financially set up for the rest of my life, because at some point I may want to stop working.
Right.
Or at one point I just may not want to do what's necessary to keep a company of this size running.
The pace.
I may just want to just do an interview a month, or do an interview every few months. You know, maybe I'll be Young Miami, do 4 interviews a year at one point.
A residency in Abu Dhabi or something.
Yeah, something. So it's the 4. So, you know, because I'm going to hit my 60s at one point.
Yeah.
Right. And
what if those are your best interviews?
What do you mean?
60s. When you reach that,
maybe
it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be interesting. It's you know, I mean, we just did Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
Like this year was an interesting year, because I think because the algorithm is a little bit different in YouTube, and the economy definitely took a hit. Like it wasn't the most profitable year that we've had, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you know, who's part of the Kennedy clan, you know, presidential candidate, Leo Cohen, probably the most powerful human being in music right now, the head of YouTube Music Global.
The guy.
Global, the head of the biggest music platform on earth. Dominique Wilkins, all-star, got a statue of him in Atlanta. Dennis Rodman, Hall of Famer.
This year? Okay.
This year. Alan Dershowitz, one of the most famous lawyers of all time. I just did Evander Holyfield a couple of days ago. That's not out yet.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we're not
big legends.
You know, like important. You know, not all these are huge interviews, but these are important figures.
Yeah, they're historical interviews.
Historical, important figures. You know, I know I'm missing some as well. Like I make lists of this sometimes just to kind of keep it in perspective for me. But no, there's been a lot. You know, as well as, like, for example, like the Lance Rivera story, the first time he talked about the Jay-Z stabbing incident. Like, you know, important moments. Important moments. Sure. Yeah, I did Vanilla Ice earlier today. You know, and
that's a dope one.
And people might discount it, but Vanilla Ice sold like 500 million records worldwide. Still sells like 3 or 4 million to this day. The first artist to have the #1 rap single in the history of the world.
People hate that stat.
People want to hate it all they want. Who's worth hundreds of millions of dollars now, who has a massive real estate empire, took us to go see his car collection in one of his garages. This car's $3 million. This car's $2 million. Yeah. This was Dean Martin's car. Like, I got the paperwork for it. Like here's I'm like, is that a Model T Ford? Oh no, that's a Model something else. This is like the luxury version of the Model T. Like
the Coca-Cola version.
God
like, how the fuck did you get that?
Yeah. It's like, yo,
crazy.
We did some shit this year. I could sit back and say
The Boosie Estates.
Boosie Estates, I thought that was one of my favorites to do.
I can't believe I saw you dunk the ball though. Is the rim lower?
I didn't dunk it. I touched the rim.
Oh, okay, yeah, you touched the rim. Yeah.
Because Boosie said I couldn't do it.
Was the rim lower?
The rim was not lower.
Oh,
it was a regulation rim.
That's awesome.
It's a regulation rim. Yo, at 50, what?
Let's go.
Talk that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, like dope shit, you know. LeVar Ball getting his story and his whole house tour. Like some inspirational shit. That I could really say like I'm proud of putting together and showing, okay, this is not like one of the princes from the royal family in Dubai showing you all the shit that his dad bought him. This is people that came from the bottom. Yeah. Right? Just like myself. I'm an immigrant. Came over with nothing. Yeah. Lived in the projects in Springfield, Massachusetts. Family slowly built our way up. I didn't have an inheritance or anything else like that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to say I didn't live in the projects, but we lived, you know, like growing up. But at one point I did live in the projects. So watching all these people tell their story and show legitimately, you know, because MTV Cribs, a lot of that shit was fake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The Red Man one was a big letdown. That was a big letdown.
But that was like the real one, though, honestly.
No,
that's probably the real one.
Okay.
Because he said
control.
they did the follow-up. They said he still got the crib.
Still got the crib.
He still rents it out.
Yeah. Nah, but like we actually, you know, are getting, you know, real people's houses and showing how, yo, like these people really got it from the mud, and someone's watching this going, yeah, I could do this too.
Shit, I watched it. It was like I could.
I could do this too.
That's why I never understood the whole culture vulture talk, because there's even people in the comments talking that shit. But it's like, who else is gonna show Boosie City? Right?
Yeah, Boosie City, right?
Yeah, who else is gonna do that? Like, you're actually doing more for the culture, in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I personally think that the culture vulture terminology is shut the fuck up already. It's over.
I mean, look. I mean, it's interesting seeing how other people's the reaction people I get. Oh, sorry, it's interesting when I interview certain people. It's interesting to see the comments that they get. So, like hearing all these people call Leo Cohen a culture vulture was like, okay,
he gets it bad. Yeah.
If he's a culture vulture, like the amount of, I mean, he essentially ran Def Jam when Russell Simmons decided to go do fashion. He became the first. Leo Cohen is another. Yeah, I didn't mention. Okay, my bad. Yeah, so you know, he was the first when Def Jam merged with like Polygram and all that. He became the first hip hop president of a major label ever in time. You know, ever.
Right. Carrying the
and
flag.
Then went on to become the president and chairman of the Warner Music Group. You know. Warner. And then started 300 from his living room for it to be sold for $400 million, not as a favor, but because of the strength of the artists, the Young Thugs and the Little Durks and the Fetty Waps and what they pulled off, breaking incredible new artists.
Huge.
And then becoming the head of YouTube. So if he's a culture vulture, that's cool.
Right. Yeah. That actually makes it a cool thing.
That's what I'm saying. It's the terminology is just
Steve
people
Rifkin,
like using
Steve Rifkin
shit.
gets called a culture vulture. Eminem gets called a culture vulture. Everyone gets called a culture vulture. You know, to me, it's another word.
As soon as you get into the media, as soon as you start getting to the bag, is when you're a culture vulture.
I mean, I'm sure they're out there. Let's not pretend. There's some, I'm sure.
For sure.
Somewhere along the line.
Who's an actual culture vulture?
I don't know them personally.
See what I'm saying?
You know, let me not lie to you, but
Bad
you know,
Bobby.
You know who gets it bad? And I've never met the guy. I think he was on your show. 1090 Jake gets it bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so anybody white?
Yeah. I was
typically
gonna go with it.
So to
yeah.
me,
that's the problem.
I mean, when I hear that, I just think that's the 2023 version of honky. Just call me a honky. That's what it is, or you know, or a cracker, or whatever derogatory term for a white person you want to use, and that's cool, and I get it. And you know, but if you're gonna call me that, stand on that. You know, well, see, so how much did you do? Not how much did you do, but how much are you doing for the culture? what are you doing right now that's impacting the culture? If you're impacting the culture way more than I am, then I might listen to that criticism, you know, and see what you have to do. But if you did some shit 20 years ago, or if you're just haven't done nothing, you're just a fan, and you were just born looking a certain type of way, feeling like you're part of it.
Comments on YouTube.
Yeah. Then it's like, it's cool.
We spoke about this yesterday. There is 0 successful people in the world have ever jumped on into the YouTube comment section to talk shit. You know what I mean? Like, to talk shit. Like, if you're showing support and stuff, that's normal. That's thank you. We appreciate that. If somebody really is going on there to talk shit, you got to think about what's going through your fucking mind. Like, what do you wake up and think, like, yo, I can't wait to get on YouTube today. Let this motherfucker have it. You know what I mean? Like,
caps.
Yeah. You're an interesting individual. If that's what you do, but to each their own. We need them too.
It's intention. They're trying to start a conversation. They want to argue with people.
And, I know. That's why I said 0 successful people.
Yeah, it's just
you know where they belong. You know, you once said that you would pay $1 million to do an interview with OJ. And now he's all over the place, and he's on
Hello, Twitter World.
It Is What It Is podcast.
Well, okay, so I did say that.
Would you still?
Well, there's a story behind that.
Okay.
Right. So I said it for, you know, the interview that I want to do, which is like, all right, we're gonna dig into everything, you know, because I interviewed Kato Caitlin. So I got the perspective of someone that was there during the time. Like, he wasn't there at the crime scene, but he was at the house and saw OJ right before and right afterwards. And
he was at the pool house or some shit.
Yeah, he lived in the pool house. Exactly. Yeah, he was the living
solve this shit.
The living guy. You know what I'm saying? So I got a pretty good perspective on the story. You know, I had to do a lot of research behind the story and so forth. So if OJ wants to sit down and get into the details of the murder and his role in it and everything else like that, and at this point, technically, he could talk about it because he was found not guilty. And if he wants to really talk about everything, I think that would be worth $1 million. But there was a serious conversation about doing the OJ interview, and me and the guy that he referred me to were talking about doing it for. It was going to be for $100,000, but the understanding was that we're not really going to dwell too much on the murder part. I was going to go into it with the stance of you were found not guilty, right? You were found not guilty, so I'm not going to ask you, did you kill her? How'd you kill her? Whatever else. But, you know, taking us through the whole course of the trial and
let him say it.
Yeah, and you know, and then as well as getting to the whole story of the Las Vegas, you know, robbery and him getting caught with it, the guns pulled out, you know, the memorabilia shit that he ultimately got convicted for and everything else like that. And I'm like, at the time, it was like $100,000 was something that I think was plausible business wise, and it ultimately stopped when his guy wanted all the money up front before he actually sat down and did the interview. And he wouldn't budge on that. And I'm like, weird. Fuck out of here. OJ already owes
take my first
OJ owes millions of dollars to not only the Nicole Brown's family, but the other guy's family, as well as to his own kids who sued him on grandparents' behalf. Like, he owes tens of millions of dollars that he will never pay. So I'm supposed to trust a motherfucker like this?
Send the wire.
The fuck?
No.
I'm supposed to trust this motherfucker to not just walk out? Like, well, you know, unless you push him a little too hard, he goes, so I'll pay him afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think pushing OJ is a good idea.
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so OJ is doing shit with Cameron and Mace, but it's all softball shit. Talking about sports. They're not talking about the murder case. They're talking about sports. I could have had OJ talking about sports for way cheaper than $100,000. I'm sure they're cutting him a check as well because they got a big sponsorship from what I understand around that show. But yeah, like what I want to do is what I want to do. Like I have, if we're going to do this and we're going to do a serious business transaction, it has to make sense. It has to be something that I think is going to be important. I'm not just going to cut a $100,000 check just to say I got OJ and have a lame ass interview or have him walk out and try to and try to scam me. And you know that was essentially the stopping point. So this is why, you know, and now I wouldn't even offer that because things have changed and the economy has changed. And in the words of Fat Joe, yesterday's price is not today's price because today's price is a lot lower. That doesn't always mean that tomorrow will be a higher price. It means that tomorrow's price might be 25% of what I offered you yesterday. So a lot of times you got to take that money when it's offered because tomorrow, hey, shit changes.
Yeah. So this is a live quote, my friend.
Yeah, OJ dropped the bag.
Nah, but I think Vlad knows something. I think Vlad was about to solve that murder. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think he was about to solve this shit. And now you think Keefe D was big. Yeah. He was about to solve the OJ shit.
Yeah. But
Vlad knows something, like I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah. No, that's what I get more from. I'm diving back into interviews that I've already watched from you after this one because now I'm going to sit there and pick it apart and hear the storyline to it and how you kind of move through it because it's a great learning experience, but also it's like to smoke a blunt and to watch something like that is fucking intriguing. You know what I mean? It's just like, whoa, what's going on here?
We also mentioned that like when we have like other guests up here, other rappers and stuff like that. It's cool to, after you meet them, go back and see their work too. It's like, I get it now. I see it from such a different perspective. That guy's cool as fuck. I know what he meant. I get it. You know, it's a nice treat. So it'll be cool to watch those interviews and be like, man, I know Vlad, man.
And shout out to Yayo. Because Yayo was bigging you up. Yayo was like, yo, Vlad's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was like, yo, if I do a podcast, I'm going to do it like Vlad. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's my man. He hit me up the other day. He on tour in Poland or some shit.
You're still over there?
He's still over there. Yeah. The reason why you haven't seen Yayo is because he's on tour with 50.
Yeah.
Well, he's... What?
We interviewed with him and we drove him over to, after the interview was over, we drove him over to West Palm to get there immediately because the interview lasted so long. He's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. So we had to drive out there.
He's overseas. Yayo is great because this is someone that I've known during my DVD era. Like I used to go down to G-Unit Studios and with my camera and film him. You know what I'm saying? When he would take off his bulletproof vest because the beef was on at that point. And, me and him, we had a little bit of tension between us. You know, at one point, there was some shit I put out that he had a problem with. So coming into that first interview, I was a little nervous because Tony has a reputation of being a loose cannon. You know what I'm saying? You know, I think 50 loves him so much. So and we had a moment, like that whole shut the fuck up, when I pushed him a little bit, with some of my questions. But I think after that, we broke the ice with that, and he saw how well that interview did and how much people really care what he has to say and his personality. He suddenly, now he's doing way more interviews. He did the Breakfast Club. He did,
it's true.
Mike Tyson's interview. Like, you got to think that for 10 years, you didn't see Tony in front of the camera at all. He was just 50's man. He would drop a song here and there. Now he actually has kind of like a second career. And we talk about this. Cool. This is him saying this. He now has a whole second career. He's now talking about his own podcast. He's now going on tours solo. Way more. He did a whole Canadian tour.
2023, Yayo still, I love it.
And it's like, yo, I love it. Like, I love that I was the one to bring that out of him, and we continue to rock with each other, and he's a very loyal guy. And that's, you know what I'm saying? Like I've had a lot of guests that have used this as as part of their careers. Although they may do other things like doing interviews and being out there and getting more shows and being more visible and everything else like that. There's been a lot of people like that. And Yayo just happened to be one of the more latest ones. Nice. And I love it. And it's like,
shout out to Vlad, helping the culture. Y'all know what it is.
That's true. Thank you.
You definitely missed the opportunity for DJ Vlad Just want to let you know that DJ Vlad in these streets, you know?
Vlad's my real name, man. Like, it's funny how I didn't like it growing up.
Yeah.
And now it just became a thing.
Yeah, because Vlad was definitely like the Russian name.
The Russian name,
like, it's probably like, shit.
It just, I couldn't think of nothing else. And Vlad TV, I couldn't really think of nothing else. And I just, fuck it.
It works.
It somehow worked. But, but anything will work if you put enough energy into it. Kanye was a very weird name when you first heard it.
Yeah.
I used to say it wrong.
You say like Kane and stuff like that. But now, you know Kanye is Kanye. Like, every name has an energy. Every important name has a lot of work behind that. It's not that the name just clicks the first time you hear it. It's like, it's the work behind the name. So,
absolutely.
P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Brother Love.
Yeah, keep changing his name.
All the above.
He keeps putting work behind another name.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
There's obviously, we had Charleston White here just a few days ago.
Shout out Charleston.
Shout out to Charleston White. Interesting character. And I know that you and him, I don't know how that relationship is between the two of you guys.
I mean, we put him on very early. I did the first interview, not his first interview, but our first interview with him, I think after Sean Cotton. He seemed like an interesting guy. He had an interesting story. We got into his whole life story of how, he was involved in killing someone as a teen, went to prison for a while, learned a lot, came out, had interesting takes and everything else like that. After that, he started to go kind of left field. Started like him and I think China Mac got into it, and he said a lot of really like nasty things about Asian people and everything else. So that me and him had a conversation about that, and I'm like, look, man, like, if you're looking to be in this field, like you're gonna get demonetized doing shit like this. Like you're gonna build up a platform that's gonna fall apart on you, and that shit is foul on top of it. You know what I'm saying? Like this racist shit is foul, and we had him back on, and we talked about it, and it was discussed and everything else like that. And then after that, he started to just get more, just exhibit just disgusting behavior of talking about raping people's kids, hoping people's children will die.
Yeah,
and
he said some stuff.
Yeah. Hailing Hitler and hoping babies die and so forth. And, I guess the argument is, that's just a character. But
he's
playing the character of a pedophile is not something that
that's a tough one.
I could respect. Me and Boosie had a conversation. He's like, this dude is talking about raping my daughter.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm good. I'm good.
That's never fun.
I'm good. And I put my foot down on it. I laid, that's where I drew the line.
Good.
And, he said, you don't want to interview me, but you interview people who kill people, blah, blah. And it's like, it's always the gaslighting of, well, what about when you did this? But, as opposed to talking about what you're doing. Let's skip over what I'm saying about raping a baby. And let's talk about this gangster you interviewed who killed someone during a war between different mafia factions. Okay, I could see how this is, bad from certain people's point of view as well, but
it's still different.
It's different.
It's still different.
It's different.
It just is.
Yeah, when you stand on something, then somebody has to just accept it.
Yeah, I stand on it, and clearly he has no shortage of platforms that he could go on, including yours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Including Say Cheese.
Say Cheese, yeah.
And including, I think, academics. And that's their choice. I don't fault them for it. I don't say y'all shouldn't be doing this. I don't call them, you shouldn't be interviewing Charleston White. I've never done that. Yeah. You could ask anybody. That's their choice, and that's how they choose to do their platform and so forth. It's just not my thing. I feel like it's just not something I'm comfortable, and it's not something that I would ever say. No matter how mad I may be at someone, I'm not going to talk about their kids. You know what I'm saying? Like if me and you got into it, I started talking about your family. Like, okay, like
it's one of those things you can't really come back.
Yeah, you can't come back from it because
it's forever.
I'm someone, dealing with an outside person, you deal with them every so often. Dealing with your family or your children is someone you have to see every day. And you have to explain to this person who you wake up with that, yeah, the person who wanted our kids to die, I'm interviewing him tomorrow. He didn't mean it. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's just not something I'm okay with. And I'm sure he's going to see this, and I'm sure he's going to go on his tirade about how
nah.
You know, and talk about all the other shit I did and so forth, and that's cool. I have nothing against Charleston White. You know, I haven't actually seen him in person ever. We've done remote interviews. I would never touch him or hurt him or want him hurt by anyone else. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This man is just, he's not actually raping. Now, if he was raping children, then I would want him. I'd want something done to him.
Rightfully so.
You know what I'm saying? Whether...
Oh, he wouldn't be up here.
Yeah. If he was raped, because, you know, I draw the line. Like, for example, people wanted me to interview, what the fuck is his name? The dude that was in prison for impregnating a 13-year-old. This Mexican rapper out of Texas.
Oh, South Park Mexican.
South Park Mexican. Oh, okay. There you go.
You remember that?
Yeah.
He's still around?
He's still in jail.
They wanted you to interview him?
Yeah. Well, I interviewed Baby Bash, who was his artist, and he was like, well, I understand what happened, but he was in a strip club, and he met this girl, and they had sex, and she got pregnant, but it was in a strip club, and it wasn't his fault, blah, blah, but there were some other allegations about him, and I'm like, well...
That's not the story I read.
Man, look, I mean, you know if you're fucking with someone 13.
Come on.
Fuck out of here.
The
like,
story
you know what I'm saying?
Don't use the strip club as a scapegoat.
Sleepover. That's the
there's some sleepover shit where they're saying one of the girls got molested. That was all part of the case and everything. I'm sure there's different dimensions to it, but I'm like,
you can't justify your way out.
Never. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Now, I interviewed the guy that was involved in the murder of Michael Jordan's father, right? Because I felt that was an important historical story.
Hell yeah.
You know, to get into that story. Now, a Charleston White would be like, oh, but you did this person. Oh, so you're not going to interview me for talking some shit that's not true, but you're going to interview someone or whatever. And that's the gaslighting argument and so forth. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. And
we're talking about the moral side.
My justification was this is an important historical. This is not just some guy who killed someone's dad randomly. This is Michael Jordan's dad, and there's a whole story behind it. There was a lot of conspiracy behind it. There was, you know, and ultimately, you know, this man has been in prison the majority of his life over just a robbery gone wrong. You know, a poor kid living in a trailer home, you know, is killed the father of one of the greatest athletes of all time, and there's a story behind that, and I you know, I'm sure Michael Jordan probably doesn't like me very much, but this is something that I chose to do. But like I said, everyone has their lines, and everyone has their, you know, their borders and so forth. I choose mine as I do, and I'm vocal about it, and whatever the response is, I don't listen like to the whole response thing, right? Like if I talk about someone and they do a big response video, I'll notice that it's there, but I won't watch it because I don't say what I say. I don't say what I say to see what they're going to say, so then I could respond to them. Now, like I said what I said, and I stand on it. And whatever they say is their shit. And if they want to make 100 videos about me, cool.
The important stuff will get back to you anyway, so it's like I'm not wasting
or it won't.
And the reason I brought up Charleston is because he had a very interesting take on Israel and Palestine. Mm-hmm. And I know that you came out publicly to address Drake and Khaled about not speaking up.
And Drake responded.
Yeah.
Well, not to me, but he put out a statement shortly afterwards.
Yeah.
Who do you think was the reason that happened? I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying. I mean, my tweet went mega viral, you know, like 3-4 million impressions. And then the Breakfast Club, they asked me about that as well. And that ended up being a big interview. So, yeah.
How do you feel about everything that's going on?
I feel sad about what's going on. Because I am Jewish myself, and I've been to Israel, but I've also been to Palestine. And I think that the leadership of Israel is fucked up. I don't like Netanyahu. I haven't liked Netanyahu. I don't like this hard right extremism role of you know, not compromising with the Palestinian people, building homes in the West Bank, creating, you know, barricading Gaza and the conditions that were set up, as opposed to a level of compromise and so forth that the presidents before him have done, like Rabin, you know, have actually met with Arafat and started the Oslo Accords and everything else like that. And then Rabin got killed, and then the people that were against Rabin was Netanyahu, who took over and stayed in power forever.
There goes that program.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't like that, and I think that if you do keep pushing people and keep, you know, creating hostile conditions for people, they will ultimately break and they will act out in whatever way it is. But I also hate what Hamas has done, you know? Like, imagine this. If Mexico launched 3,000 missiles against America and then went and created a ground offensive and killed 1,000 people and kidnapped 200 people, do you think that we're going to be, you know, touchy-feely with how we react to Mexico? Look at what we did to Afghanistan after 9/11. We essentially took over that whole country.
Crazy.
Just because bin Laden was allegedly there, right? This is what America has done. So it's always interesting to me about how everyone talks about how you know, how Israel is reacting when America does the same shit.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm saying this because there's fault on both sides.
Yeah.
It's not an easy solution, because the solution would have been attained at some point. My entire life, your entire lives, there has been a war between Palestine and Israel. There has not been any level of peace between these two countries. And it's sad what's happening now on both sides. I hate all, you know, people were at a concert and just got slaughtered. These were not soldiers. These were young people, young girls, young boys.
Tourists.
You know, tourists. You know, people just, I think it was a peace concert or some shit like that. It was, people were just minding their own business and having fun. They were not out there. It wasn't that it was an anti-Palestine rally and this was a reaction to that. No, there was just a concert that got attacked, and people are still kidnapped, and people are still, hundreds of people are still kidnapped right now. You know, that's it. You can't excuse that. You can't be okay with that.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, it's not their fault they did that.
Who threw the first stone?
It's not about that. And I hate that Israel has such a heavy-handed response to this, and in the process, people who are not Hamas are getting killed. That you know, children are being killed, and families are being killed, and there's no electricity, and the hospitals are fucked up, and there's the water supplies are fucked up, and the humanitarian aid is so forth, you know, and so forth, and that is causing waves of anti-Semitism, and then there's waves of Islamophobia, and so forth. An old Jewish man got killed during a protest recently. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fucked up, it's and wild. It makes people feel more comfortable to trash somebody because of how they were born or what their religion is, and to say this whole group of people is evil and fucked up, and there's a group of us that we're okay saying this, as opposed to saying the leaders of these two organizations, Hamas and Israel, are fucking up their own people in the process. In the grand scheme of things. Yeah. Netanyahu, like I said, I don't like. Hamas doesn't recognize Israel as a country. They see them as occupiers and will not communicate with them directly. They have to talk through the Palestinians, the Palestinian government. There has to be an intermediary between these conversations, because they will not address them as an actual country. They're not accepting, you know, neither one is really accepting the two-state solution. and it's fucked up. But it's not because, Muslims are bad people or Jews are bad people. It's whoever is being at the top are making these decisions that are affecting everyone else and affecting everything on a worldwide level. And that's how I feel. And if you watch me and TK Kirkland, who didn't know about the whole conflict, I did this really.
I like TK.
I did this whole breakdown of the historic history, the history of this whole conflict that goes back 2,000 years. Israel was the Jewish homeland 2,000 years ago. The Roman Empire came in and kicked all the Jews out, and some of them went to Europe and over time became white. Some of them went into northern Africa and the Middle East and became brown. And when you look at Israel, it's 40%. People think that Israel is just white people.
White people.
Which is false. 40% of Israel is Sephardic Jews who are brown.
Yeah.
Or black.
It is the Middle East.
It's the Middle East.
But people have this notion that
it's all, because the president happens to be white looking, that this is just what it is. But it's Israel. When I did a DNA test, I have Bedouin Middle Eastern blood in my DNA. Yeah. This is my family over time came through this. People like to say I'm a fake Jew, but like
what is
that? but if you like if you have a kid with a white woman, and it's a boy who then has a kid with a white woman, that baby's probably gonna look white. If they have, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And if they have a kid again, and that's only 2-3 generations,
right?
What's gonna happen over 100 generations?
I'll have Drake.
Yeah. Yeah, but then Drake, look at Drake's baby.
Correct.
There you go.
Drake's baby looks white because he had a baby with a white woman. The baby is 3/4 white.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Adonis is his name, right?
Yeah.
Adonis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Adonis could probably pass for white.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Could choose. 100%. He's got like green eyes or something, like blonde hair.
Yeah, blue eyes,
curly
blonde hair, blonde curly hair. Like,
Yeah.
is Adonis a fake Jew? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drake's mom is Jewish.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things. But my point is that it's sad, man. It's sad because
all of it. Yeah.
nobody wants to compromise, and people are getting killed, and this is continuing, and it's I put it out there that I'm Jewish, and I stand behind it. So I get the attacks and I get the whatever, but I try to take a middle ground,
Objective truth.
because I think that anyone that goes all the way to one side is stupid.
Absolutely.
It's just stupid.
Right.
Anyone who says this is the fault of Hamas and that's it is stupid. Anyone that says that Israel is doing all this and is 100% wrong is stupid.
Yeah.
It's a complicated situation.
It's interesting to see people sway as events come out and information
Yeah.
comes out and
Yeah.
people learn more about the history and what's really going on.
Yeah.
To that, people are like, I'm not going to take any stance. That's y'all shit, you know?
You said Drake had responded. Did Khaled ever respond?
Nope.
Because I was thinking maybe he could do like a "We Are the World" record. That would be like his big response. Just gather all the rappers up and be like, "Yeah, let's just try to get some peace going," or because that would be a good non-committal way to respond.
Nope.
see.
I mean, listen, like when I said that Drake and that Drake is the most famous Jewish person in the world, Khaled is the most famous Palestinian in the world, and they should say something. That wasn't an order. That was just something I felt. And they never have to say anything. Drake did say something. Drake did put out a statement, but then 40 also put out a statement, who I believe is Palestinian. Yeah. Like the statement, regardless of what it is, if it's, pro whoever, I think that people need to speak up. But if Khaled never says anything, Khaled never says anything. Life goes on. Yeah. You don't have to listen to me. I don't have a relationship with Khaled. We don't know each other like that. I mean, we know of each other. We've been around each other. We don't know each other. I haven't interviewed him really since Vlad TV was launched, I believe. Like, wow. I did some DVD shit with him maybe like 17 years ago. So yeah, I mean, Khaled's Khaled. He's very successful at what he's done, and clearly he doesn't want to touch this topic which to me is a bit weird because I believe that he would say that he's like the son of a Palestinian shoemaker or stuff like that. So he would really stand on that. So to me, it's just sort of weird.
Yeah.
But maybe he feels that that might affect some of his business deals, or maybe he just doesn't feel like his opinion, you know, needs to be out there for this. Maybe this is something that he wants to just discuss privately, and that's it. Life goes on. I go to sleep. I wake up, and you know, I don't sit there and badger the situation. I said what I said. The only reason I'm talking about it right now is because y'all are asking me.
Yeah.
I didn't come in here and say, "Oh, let me talk about this." No, these are just questions that I'm asking that you guys are bringing up. Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about it.
French Montana went through a similar thing because he's always kind of over there, and you know, he's big on that side. And his stance when he did make a statement was, "I just wanted to get educated first, man. Yeah. I wanted to figure out what before I co-sign anybody, what is going on and why is it, and let me actually, because this is stuff that I just wasn't really privy to as far as the details,
right?
You know, so before I make a statement, before I jump the gun and make a quick, you know, hot take." Let me figure out what's going on first.
Sure.
That I respect.
Sure.
And I think that was the statement. He didn't really divulge after
And that was it.
But,
yeah, I mean, that's cool.
That's cool, you know.
And maybe by making that statement, he's had people reach out to him. I mean, because, you know, at the level of a Drake or a Khaled or a French Montana, they have access to university professors and to like great minds and to people that really understand this at very deep levels. You know, they might be able to have a conversation with the president of Israel or the president, you know, or the leader of Palestine. You know what I'm saying, about this at a very deep level. I mean, listen, I've interviewed Alan Dershowitz, who met with Netanyahu and also met with the leader of Palestine. He's had conversations with both. And, you know, he's given his perspective, and, you know, you may not agree with it, but he knows a lot more than you and I. Because he's actually talked to the actual leaders and even tried to work shit out in whatever way. But at the end of the day, no one got to say nothing. But I could also say what I want to say.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the beauty of it.
I think for me, I again, it's the same thing French Montana said. I'd rather educate myself a little bit more on it, but I do feel sad.
Yeah,
I think that's the easiest way for me to put it about what's going on. And, you know, obviously, I know what I know. I have done research, but it's still a tough situation to speak on. And I look at it like whenever there's children that are being murdered, it just makes it such a touchy situation. And I'm still a fairly new father, so it kills me watching that.
Well, let me break something down to something people may not understand, because when the way that the Israeli constitution is set up, every person who's Jewish, well, number one, can get citizenship in the country, but number two, there's something called birthright, meaning that they will fly you out there and take you around.
Was it the make Aliyah or something like that? Something like Aliyah.
Yeah, that's probably the other name for it. Yeah, because you've been out there. Yeah. So you know, me and a group of young adults essentially were flown out. I was maybe 23 at the time. I just graduated college.
Nice.
And we went to all the different parts of Israel, and we went to Palestine, and we took classes, and we talked to the soldiers and to professors and everything else like that, and they sort of explained the meaning behind terrorism, right? Because one person's terrorist, the other person's freedom fighter. Depends on how you look at it, right?
Yeah.
It's both sides.
Very good point.
Depending on what side you're on and how the media paints you, it just, you know, Israel considers Hamas terrorists and Hamas considers Israel terrorists, and, you know, it goes both ways. But the part that I don't think a lot of people realize is that the purpose of, you know, standard terrorism is to stop the peace process. Is that when you look at severe terrorist situations, things are about to happen where compromise is about to happen. Like, things are being worked out. You know, people are giving back things that hard right, you know, people don't want to see happen. So, like,
so they try to put a kibosh.
So for example, right, me and you have some sort of beef, right? and we've had a long-standing beef. I've killed some of your family. You killed some of my family. But we're trying to work it out because we're getting older and we don't want our grandkids to go through this, right? And things are progressing. And then one of my people goes and blows up your kids.
Yeah.
Goes and puts a bomb in your kid in a school bus that your kids are on. And what do you say? Fuck Vlad and his people.
Yeah,
Fuck those people. You can't talk to a fucking animal like Vlad. His people just blew up a fucking school bus. Fuck him. Nah, I don't want to talk to you anymore. If this is how you're supposed to be the head of this and you're supposed to control this and they blew up a fucking school bus full of kids, you can't talk to these people. These people are fucking animals. We're done. End of conversation. We're done. And then whoever blew up that school bus, whoever blew up that school bus is like, didn't want those negotiations to happen anyways. Terrorism is designed to stop the peace process. The only way the peace process continues is if you ignore the terrorism. But sometimes the terrorism is so atrocious that it's hard to ignore it.
Wow.
But you have to ignore it to keep going, but it rarely happens that way. So when you see these really severe situations, it's because there's someone that doesn't want things to be worked out. They want it to go their way. I don't want to work it out with you. I want to take over your whole block, and I want you to get the fuck out, and I want to run everything you own. I want to own because I feel I deserve it. And you know what I'm saying? And my boss is trying to work it out, but fuck my boss. I don't agree with him, and I'm going to do some underhanded shit, and I'm going to blow some shit up, and all the work that was done between the two bosses is going to be over, and I get what I want, which is more chaos, and eventually I'm thinking that I'll just get everything I want. And this is the purpose of terrorism, and this is what happens, and it goes both ways. And then, you go and do some shit, then you have a severe reaction. And then you end up looking like the bad guy because you're more heavy-handed. You say, I'm going to go blow up 2 school buses. You know what I'm saying? In retaliation. Now you look like the animal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then at that point, whatever was talked about before is out the window, and that's how terrorism works. Wow. The end. The end. This is what people don't want to talk about. Yeah. This is what happens under the hood. Because look, like, did Hamas really think that they're going to destroy Israel with those rockets?
That one attack.
Most of those rockets, were shot down with the Iron Dome and whatever else. 1,000 people got killed, but it's not like there was only 1,001 people in the country. You're talking about a country full of millions of people. They knew that it was going to create a situation where Israel was going to retaliate, then Israel would look like the bad guy because they have the more powerful military, and then now people are taking sides, and you know what I'm saying, and then no one's talking anymore, no one's working shit out anymore, and the extremists got what they want.
Absolutely,
we're done. There's no negotiation. Like I said, Hamas doesn't believe that Israel is a country. They're occupiers, and they shouldn't be there. This is their land, and fuck all the Israelis. They could go somewhere else.
That's wild.
And that's sort of the whole thing. And then Israel doesn't respect Palestine in this, in their own way. And you know what I'm saying?
Over time, for years.
Over time, and it keeps going on. It keeps going on, and it's fucking depressing. And
we just got a Vlad TV breakdown of Israel versus Palestine.
Yeah, man.
I was going to say, I'm still not over Ukraine and Russia, but I don't even want to get into it.
Ukraine and Russia is fucked up.
Yeah.
Ukraine and Russia is fucked up as well. And people ask why, well, you're Russian. Why do you have a Ukrainian flag? Well, because it was Russia at the time I lived there, which is why I always said I was Russian. Yeah. But it was land-wise, like geographically, it was the Ukraine that I was born into, you know what I'm saying? And
it's on your Wikipedia. It has both.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, it's a little complicated, but it's, if you look at, I was born in 73, look at Ukraine in 73 as part of the USSR. So,
crazy.
I understand. Everyone has an opinion, but not everyone understands. Most people just get triggered off of keywords and so forth. They don't understand the history of everything. And, sometimes I'll explain it. Sometimes you have to work it out for yourself.
Absolutely. Now, in this landscape, it's very difficult to just navigate and win in this industry, right? Like, it's tough. You've obviously had more experience than most. if you had the opportunity to give, well, the opportunities here, to give us advice, and obviously now you've been here, you've seen what we do, what would be the advice that you would give us to move forward?
Well, nothing's going to beat out the consistency, right? Like, if you drop content every day for a year, you're not going to be where you are a year ago. You'll progress. Now, you may not progress the way you think you were going to progress, but you will continue to build a fan base, and you will figure out what starts to work and what doesn't work. Everything you do is never wasted. So if Joe Budden said that he may not like me personally, but he respects the work that I put in. 15 years of doing shit every day. The consistency of working shit out, of waking up every morning and really just trying to push the envelope, just trying to go harder than you did the day before. You're competing not against me or academics, you're competing against yourself. Mm-hmm. You're trying to outdo yourself. You're trying to figure out what it is, and you're also, in the process of doing that, you kind of figure out your own lane in what it is that you do. There's going to be something that's going to seriously differentiate the Danza podcast from every other podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like people like to call Vlad TV the police or the feds because we go hard in our interviews. It was very shocking to hip hop in the beginning. Yeah. Because hip hop was historically a very softball landscape for media. Like, a lot of these radio interviewers suck. Flat out. I'm not going to name any names, but a lot of them just suck. And they get these big names, and the interview gets 2,000 views. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, it annoys me to see it sometimes, because it's like, if I would have sat there, this would have gotten 10 million views and made an impact. So that's our thing, was like, I looked up to 60 Minutes when I got into this game. That's the interviews I was watching my whole life, and what I was trying to emulate, the impact of that, and
the camera setup just made so much sense.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, like, everyone, when you look at everyone in this space that has become prominent, it's never because they're just even keel and just very non-confrontational and very across the board and very not taking a stance and not known for something. Like, academics is known for being academics. Now, you may love it, you may hate it, but academics is academics. You push academics, he's going to push you back. Yeah. He's not going to hold your tongue, even though he's your man. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna go hard, and he's gonna give his opinion, and he's gonna attack you if you're male or female. And people, like, I made a statement about that. It's like, it's interesting how he's being labeled as a misogynist and everything else like that, when 95% of the people he talks about is men. But if he talks about a woman, it's like, you're attacking a woman. How dare you? Yeah. You're a woman hater. Oh, look, and my thing is, like, are you gonna have equality, or are you gonna have special treatment? Equality means you got to take the good with the bad. Yep. Special treatment means that we got to treat you with kids' gloves, but then you're not equal then. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So academics is academics. Joe Budden is Joe Budden. Like, what you're coming, like, if you watch a Joe Budden interview, you're going to get this opinionated guy who's going to say what he's going to say and the way he's going to say it. Gillian Wallow, Nori. Yep. All these people are known for something. Something they stand on, something they push. This is, on the radio, a lot of times you're just getting sound bites and you're playing music, and it's not it's not a focus of that radio station. This is why I've never been on the radio. Because what I want to do, the radio doesn't want that. Right. I've never had a radio show. I've had conversations here and there, and when I say what I want to do, they're like,
those gotta be weird, that. Like 6 a.m. and.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, it's just not. I have to do what it is that I want to do. And my audience expects a certain something from me, and the audience is the important ones in the equation. The guests will come and go. There's, as much as I love certain guests, they could say, I'm done. I don't want to do Vlad anymore, which has happened. And you know, it is what it is. But you have to be known for a certain type of thing. You can't just be known as someone who gets along with everyone, is nice to everybody, and when they come in, you ask a bunch of softball questions and you compliment them on their project, and then they go home, and then you know you're left with nothing. You have to really figure out, you know, like 1090 Jake, he's called a culture vulture, but he's known for something. True. He's known for actually doing the research, finding the real paperwork.
They give him that.
Finding the real video, something that's not easy to do. It requires reaching out, you know, submitting requests, paying money, doing research, talking to a lot of people. Now you may hate that he's doing it, but he's known for that type of thing, and he does it better than anybody else, because hip-hop kind of sucks when it comes to doing research. Right? Hip-hop would rather run with whatever bullshit, and I've been caught up in this bullshit many times. You know what I'm saying? And it's fucking annoying. But this is where I'm at, and I understand. Sometimes I clear it up, sometimes I don't. But I'm saying that everyone who's prominent is prominent for a thing. You know, Gilly and Wallow, they have a thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That this is why people fuck with him. Math Hoffa comes from battle rap, and he has a whole thing about it, and he's got the barbershop. I asked him, I said, why do you do this whole barbershop thing with these 5 other guys as opposed to just doing one-on-one interviews? He goes, well, because it's a theme. Yeah. It's the barbershop, it's the backdrop, it's the feel. And
the barbershop talk.
Yeah, the barbershop talk. Like I've had this conversation with him, and that's my man. Another person who I supported very early on, who I said, yo, you're going to be bigger than battle rap. And as soon as his show started to pop off, I was on his show.
He did it, yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
Look, I was early on the academic show. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing, and you have to figure out what your thing is, and sometimes it takes years to develop that. Right?
You said academics.
Oh, I'm sorry, math.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I just wanted him to get it right.
Yeah. You did both, right?
No, he did. He was just talking about math.
I'm talking about math right now, yeah. You guys have to figure out what your thing is. And maybe you guys have already figured it out and I haven't caught on yet. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to figure out what that thing is, and then you have to lean into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when the Keefe D shit happened and the Tupac shit happened, I leaned into it.
I see.
I didn't say, oh, no, I don't want to be called the police, so let me... Nah, it's like Piers Morgan reached out, which is the biggest media entity in all of Europe, essentially, and was like, Pierce wants to interview you. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So now I got an interview with Piers Morgan. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you gotta lean into who it is that you are and what it is that you do, and it's you have to own it.
I see.
You have to own it, and you have to stand by it through the criticism and everything else like that. And especially if you're the first one to do it, you're gonna get the most flack. Like there's gonna be a bunch of little baby 1090 Jakes in the next few years.
Oh, geez, yeah.
But he's the one catching the flack and being called a culture vulture and everything like that, because he's the first one to do that.
Right.
But I recognize that, which is why he's now becoming a regular guest on Vlad TV. If you notice, we did his first interview.
He's good at what he does.
He's good at what he does, right? And he appreciates what it is that I do. He said that he was a big fan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so we're creating this new interview that he's becoming a regular guest on my show. You know, regular guests are one of my things. Something that people didn't really do. And you see it like on CNN.
Yeah.
It seems a little obvious to me, but not everyone gets that. Everyone wants to just constantly get new guests. Like my thing is like, no, I'm going to have repeat guests, and I'm going to keep bringing these people on for certain types of things. John Sally is a regular guest that talks about basketball. You know, Michael Jai White is a regular guest that talks about MMA and boxing, because that's what he does.
That's cool.
Or acting. That's what he does. Ari Spears talks about comedy. It's what he does, and me and him could sit there and fuck with each other and do our little comedy thing back and forth. And I love comedy. Yeah. So I love having comedians like Aries, like TK Kirkland. Faison Love, again, another comedian that talks his shit, that's good at what he does. And it's like
the king of them all that you have that keeps coming back is Boosie.
Of course.
Yeah.
For some reason, me and Boosie just have that that effect. You know, he comes in and he does huge numbers with me. But then again, it's a relationship that goes back 20 years. Before Vlad TV, I was interviewing him when he first got signed. Him and Webby first got signed in Atlantic.
Whoa.
Yeah. You could find Boosie looking like a baby on Vlad TV.
The big clothes and the
the big shirts, the hat. He's like skinny as hell. Like, you know, this was like maybe 2005, 2006, before Vlad TV. So, you know, yeah. I mean, me and Boosie, we rock out, and when a new Boosie interview drops, but that's something that we've had to build up over time. Yeah. And we've had to build a personal relationship and a business relationship, and it has to make sense all the way around.
Yeah, it's like you're running a news show and you got correspondents.
Of course.
And now to Aries with
pundits.
Pundits, okay.
Kind of is really more of what it's like. Yeah,
okay.
Really more pundits than that. And CNN, Fox, they do that every single day. You know, and those people are on payroll or are contractors and so forth. And they, you know, and I looked at that and said, it's a good idea because it's hard to constantly get new people over and over and over and over again. But we do get new people all the time, but it's mixed in with the regular guests.
Smart, actually, because it's exhausting.
I mean, yeah, it's just
logistics alone. It's like,
yeah, but you know, like Drink Champs has done great not doing that. They always get new guests and they get big guests. Yeah. And shout out to Nori, he's done great. He's pivoted from hip hop, from being a rapper, to being a very prominent podcaster, interviewer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. But
he's Nori, right? You don't get a different Nori every interview. You get Nori.
Yeah.
It's called Drink Champs. There's drinking, anything else like that.
To your point, and thank you for the advice. That's great advice. Yeah. I feel like that's something that we're going to have to try to overcome because we don't have the rap catalog fan base or anything like that for them to know us for to tie in with the podcast. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be known for the podcast. You get me? So we have to kind of compete with these guys that already have these demographics that we're trying to earn.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, but look at I Am Athlete. They came in and
as known athletes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we're not famous for anything.
I'm not crying about it.
What was Adam famous for?
There you go. There's a good one.
What was Adam? Really? So
not famous. Let me not lie to you.
Skateboarding and BMX a little bit. He had to be
Let me not lie.
He didn't skateboard. He was a BMX guy.
Yeah. He had to BMX
right?
a little bit, yeah.
Do you know? Name another famous BMXer.
But I only know that because I did the research.
Right.
Like
that's my point.
Yeah.
My point is that he wasn't famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He tried. He did the BMX shit. It didn't work. I don't know how famous or not famous he was in that, but clearly it didn't work.
Right.
And he pivoted. But you know what he did? He focused on that next generation of like emo type rappers. The shit that he actually liked. Like Adam doesn't listen to Rap Caviar. Okay. That's not what he goes to. No, that's not his thing. He's looking for the more, you know, offbeat sort of, you know,
these interesting guys outside.
That next generation, like his, you know what his biggest interview was?
Wow.
XXXTentacion.
Yeah, I remember they called a lot of people early.
I didn't want to be wrong.
Early.
Yeah.
In fact, that was one of the biggest interviews. Like his interview with X was definitely X's biggest interview, but kind of one of the biggest hip hop interviews because X became a superstar. But it took an Adam to see the future, the vision of what X knew, but what no one else at the time knew. I'm sure I could have gotten X at that time too. He just wasn't on my radar. I was focusing on different things, but he was focusing on that. And you look at his history, like Lil Peep.
Yeah.
You know, Juice WRLD, and a lot of these guys, you know, like
there is a niche.
the kids with the face tattoos, and he got face tattoos, so they could relate to him a certain type of way that they probably won't relate to me. Me and X probably wouldn't have had the same type of interview.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm a little older. I'm not tatted up at all. I'm not, you know, I didn't catch on to his music until later, and he became one of the biggest artists in hip hop. Period. Like that album, his last album, I think was one of the most. it may be the most streamed hip hop album ever.
The posthumous one or the
No, the one.
Okay,
the one
sad.
with the question marks.
Yeah,
the one with the question mark. Yeah, like that album is way up there. But that's Adam's thing. You know, and now it's like porn and stuff like that. He's sort of pivoted into doing some of that shit as well.
He's added some new.
Being a cuckold, you know what I mean? That's just...
Oh, stop it. Stop
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, because we used to interview porn stars back in the day, but at one point I said, all right, enough. I'm good. I've done that. I see it's not really my lane. And that's Adam's lane. But that's more organic to him because he does porn himself, right? Yeah, so it makes more sense for him to interview a porn star than me. So, you know, if I get those offers, I'd be like, go talk to Adam. Like, that's a better place for you. You know what I'm saying? I got nothing against you or anything else like that. But so this is what I'm saying. Like, everyone has their thing, and you got to figure out what that thing is. And you can't just say, oh, well, they have an advantage because Nori's a rapper, or Vlad was a DJ, or Gilly, you know, was down with Lil Wayne, or whatever else. No, like, you know, what was Sean Cotton famous for?
Say Cheese.
No, before Say Cheese, what was he famous for?
I don't know.
He worked at Best Buy.
Okay.
You know someone who's famous for working at Best Buy? I don't know anyone who's famous for working at Best Buy.
Making the case.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. He was working at Best Buy, watching Vlad TV interviews on his break.
Fire.
And I know this because he told me when I interviewed him the first time. He said he used to watch Vlad TV interviews during his breaks at Best Buy. And one day he picked up a camera and said, I'm going to try this.
I'm going to try this out.
You fast forward, and he's one of the prominent interviewers in our space. Yeah. But he started from the very bottom.
The break room.
From the bottom.
And then, you know, and now he does other shit. He does some real estate shit. He signed, you know, and he signed artists. He signed like Spot 'em Got 'em and some other dudes. Like, you know, not all of them blew. Some of them did whatever. But, you know, that's kind of his lane. Like, he's into signing artists and everything else like that. So that's, you know, kind of his thing and where he's positioned himself. But no one leans on, like, yes, some people have a little bit of a head start, but there's lots of athletes who started podcasts that have gone fucking nowhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's lots of rappers, sometimes even bigger rappers, who start podcasts and realize 3-4 podcasts in that they're not making any money, and they quit.
Yeah, you got to. You said a lot of dope shit. You talked about reinvestment and consistency. Yeah, and if you don't have those, it's not going to work.
Yeah,
anyways.
Gloria Valez did 3 podcasts for us. She got good guests. She got Cisco for the first one. She got TK Kirkland for the second.
Okay.
She got Neo for the third.
Big.
She was a major video girl in her era. So she had these relationships. She had a leg up. You know, some of these guys, the relationships may differ. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But she approached us to do a podcast. And I said, all right, I'm going to finance it. I'm going to film it. I'm going to produce it. I'm going to put it out through my platform. I'm going to pay you and your partner for it as well. We put it out. First one lost money. Second one lost money. Third one lost money. And then she does a video, but we were still rocking with it. Okay, like, these have lost money, but we're still willing. We're still figuring it out. Yeah. Yes, a lot of the guests you bring to me, I'm not going to take them because there's a track record of not being extremely successful, but I'm still trying to work with you and so forth. One day she makes a video saying that, you know, accusing me of shady tactics or whatever else. And like, you know, I'm not working with Vlad TV anymore. Who should I work for next? That was the last podcast she ever did.
Anyone?
She hasn't dropped anything since then.
Is there anyone alive out there?
She hasn't dropped anything since then. Just to illustrate that here's someone who has a leg up.
Yeah.
Who has a platform, who has someone who's investing in it, but 3 episodes in, they hit a frustration point and they quit because the OnlyFans money is just easier. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just easier. Why should I put in all this work when I could just shoot a video of whatever, and I just, you know,
put in that work.
Yeah, and I've just made a few $1,000s. It's way easier. So it never got a chance to develop. You know, a year down the line, she could have been one of the major, you know, and the thing is, and like I said before, it seems easy to do, but, you know, I would give her blueprints of what to do in the interview. She would veer off and go do herself, and it wouldn't, you know. And it's like, it's like everyone just can't do it from the first day they do it. They have to learn. They have to understand what works, and it's a skill that takes a while to develop. But she had a lot of legs up, and she had a lot of I don't mean that.
Yeah, I was about to say, damn.
Yeah, she did. No.
She had a lot of advantages and a lot of history and a lot of relationships that you and I don't have. Like having, you know, if you've known Gloria for 10 years and she hits you up, you're like, yo, that's my girl. Like, yeah, I'll fuck with you. Like, yeah, I'll stop by. I got you. Her and Neo obviously had a relationship, you know, a friendship or whatever else to make him stop whatever he's doing to go support her platform or anything else like that. But like, it's not easy, and people have to learn. Like, you don't just hit the ground running, and you know. But she had all the advantages that you're talking about, and it still didn't work out.
Didn't work. Okay.
Partly because she didn't put in the work, partly because she gave up too early, partly because she wouldn't listen to the producer, which is me, you know, partly because she had a temper and she blew up. Because I remember I tried to call her afterwards and she wouldn't take my calls. I tried to text her, she wouldn't respond to my text. And I'm like, okay, well, I've lost.
It's over for you.
I've lost I've already lost money on every project that we've done for you, so I'm done. Like, I don't, I'm going to keep pushing to lose more money? Like, yo, like, it is what it is. But what I'm saying is, don't think that other people somehow are starting ahead of you.
Yeah. Because if
you could outwork anybody.
Hello.
You could outwork anybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what is it? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work?
Yeah.
Or show up to work?
Young Miami has Diddy behind her, has Revolt behind her. She's a city girl. She's pretty. She has
4 podcasts.
Yeah, but she has her relationships. Yeah. She has everything. She has awards.
Yeah, placement.
But ultimately, she doesn't have the work ethic to say, yo, like, here's a great platform. I have everything that really you know, all these advantages. I'm going to drop a new podcast every week, which is easy. I wish I could just do 1 interview a week. Yeah. I wish.
So do we.
I do. Sometimes I have weeks where I do 7, like literally every day, Saturday, Sunday. I try to do more than 1 a day, but like, there's, you know, we're 4th quarter right now. It's crunch time. You know what I mean? Jordan don't pass the ball in the 4th quarter. This is how I'm looking at this. How I'm looking at this shit right now. You know what I'm saying? She has all these advantages, and she has the funding and the popularity and
access to talent,
and she's young, and you know, and she has a baby with Southside, and you know what I'm saying. So there's that connection and so forth. But she doesn't have the work ethic, and even though she won, I think most people in the hip hop field go, her interviews don't really make that much of an impact. Just let's keep it 100. They don't make the impact that Nori does.
Word.
You know. Yeah. And you know, the fact that she tied Nori the year before. This is not me picking on Young Miami. I don't know her.
Yeah.
I've never met her. But I'm just illustrating a point that
you don't have to even apologize. You're making perfect sense.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're already a professional athlete, if you're already this, if you're already that. You still, all have to figure out how to do their shit and have to figure it out, because it's not going to make an impact from them just being them. Oprah had a lot of fucking interviews in her day.
She's always been working.
She's always been working since she was very young, and has put in that work and then built her own network.
Crazy.
Yeah, she built her own network. She acted in movies. You know, she's done legendary shit. decade after decade after decade after decade, and she became, once again, Oprah has her thing. You know, sitting down with Oprah, it's going to go a certain type of way. And what was Oprah's, advantage when she started? You know what I'm saying? Started she started in the 80s, in a much more racist era, as a black, as a dark-skinned black woman, with a lot of discrimination and everything else like that. And look at where she's gotten. No one, Stedman didn't help her get there.
Poor Stedman.
Stedman was silent, like,
Stedman was Stedman.
Keep going.
Take
you see what I'm saying? Like everyone puts in that work, and it doesn't matter. And you can get put in certain positions and so forth, but then you still have to carry it.
Still got to do the work, baby.
Still got to do the work, or you'll get cut.
Now you've had plenty of interviews, and you got a friendship with DJ Envy.
Yeah, well, I interviewed Envy a long time ago, like maybe 12 years ago.
Oh, I thought you guys had some.
Well, no, we've always been friendly with each other because me and Charlemagne have a relationship. Cool. But recently, when we were talking about expanding into different types of content, and we did this. I did an interview with Gilbert Arenas, and then afterwards, I'm walking him out. I'm like, I go to the parking lot, and I'm like, well, what's that? And he's like, oh, this is a Maybach minivan. And I'm like, I've never seen this before. He's like, there's only like 2 of them. And I'm like, can we film this? He's like, yeah, let's do it. We do that, gets a great reaction. So I'm like, I want to do more car shit. Who's the car guy in hip-hop? DJ Envy, right? He does the car shows. So I reached out to him, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. So go out to New Jersey, film a feature on his car collection, and then do an interview, and that's sort of, and ever since then, which was somewhat recent, we started to be in contact a little bit more and so forth. And of course, I was in the Breakfast Club, shortly after that and so forth, but I've always respected Envy. It's sad what he's going through right now because I don't think that he, from everything I've seen as well as conversations that I've had, it seems like he's a victim in all this shit, just like everything else. I think that Envy's mistake was, basically partnering up with someone who has a questionable background that he didn't realize at the time. You know what I'm saying? And now he's stuck being associated with this guy who appears to be a crook, and that's fucked up because Envy's not the crook. But at the end of the day, you're in this shit long enough, you're going to have to deal with some version of this and so forth. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to clarify. You know what I'm saying? It's not like me and Envy have been in contact all these years the way we have been recently. Yeah.
And what I was going to ask you is, would you ever interview Cesar Pina?
No, I don't think so.
Because based on the friendship, right?
Well, I mean, it's a fucked up situation. I mean, I think anyone who does that is sort of doing a pylon right now. And I try not to do pylons, especially, people in the media. Like me and academics sort of have that in common where, like if someone in our space is going through it, like we're not just, there's going to be enough people that are jumping on them anyways. I don't want to add necessarily to the problem. Because they'll it's not the right thing to do, and they'll probably do the same thing to me if given the chance and so forth. So I probably wouldn't. No, not a probably, but I definitely wouldn't interview. Plus he's got an open case on top of that. Yeah. So like on that regards, I wouldn't want to interview him, like because I know that everything we say is going to be then part of his case, and I try to avoid that when I can, unless they write a book about it. And, you know what I'm saying? And then I will interview them. But I'm saying, like based on my conversation, based on my relationship with Envy and also based on my relationship with Charlemagne,
that's dope.
Like I try to look out for them, and we try to actually push some of the narrative that, like Envy's office wasn't raided by the feds. That was a bullshit story. A lot of it is, you have to clear up the lies, because I've been lied on also. lots of times, and I appreciate the people that have stood up and said, "Yo, this just isn't true."
It's nice to know you have a couple allies, man.
Yeah,
it's not just like, man.
I have a lot of allies, man. You know? A lot. You know, I have way more allies than so-called enemies.
Good.
You know, so it's
that's dope.
Yeah, and even whatever enemies to me is very, very slight. Like, you know, it's not that serious.
Yeah,
you know,
that's the hope. You know, you hope you do good business and put good stuff out there. Yeah. You hope people rock with you and it resonates. So.
And then there's always going to be the issues where people want to be they want to have the story of, oh, this guy fucked me over, this guy is a bad person or whatnot. And you have Yung Bleu, who's said that you're the reason Boosie and him are no longer.
Well, that was before, until I had to respond to that, and then me and him had a conversation about that, and he got off of that off of that stance. Yeah, no, he's not standing on that anymore. You know, he's said enough, and Boosie has said enough.
Yeah,
outside of me, I have no stake in whatever situation they have in terms of their business dealings.
Yeah,
I'm not business partners with Boosie or Blue. I don't have a piece of anyone's record sales or whatever else. Now I have my relationship with Boosie. I also have my relationship with Blue, but my relationship with Boosie is obviously a lot stronger.
Yeah,
Boosie is the one that introduced me to Blue. So, but yeah, you know, I think that's the annoying part about my position is that when I take a stance, it turns the response is usually racial, right? It's you know, like if I call someone out, their response is something to do with me being white and something to do with me interviewing black artists. Like that's the easy, regardless, and ignoring what it is that I say.
That's fruit. That's what it is. Low hanging fruit.
That's the annoying part. It's like, all right, we're just gonna skip the part of what I said. We're gonna skip the part of the criticism. We're gonna skip the part that I'm a man. I'm now this
white. You know
I'm just this animal. Yeah. I'm a vulture now. I'm an animal, and I'm going to be referred to as such. I'm not going to be referred to as a human being anymore. I'm going to be referred to as an animal, as something subhuman, and that to me is just weak.
Yeah.
Because think about, you know what I'm saying, like I would never do that in reverse.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like you've never heard me attack somebody because of their race or because of their religion or whatever else. I'm dealing with them as a human and what they're actually saying. And whatever they're saying is them saying it as a man or a woman. And I'll address that.
I see.
However they were born, whatever their sexual preference is, whatever their religion is, whatever their nationality is, has nothing to do with what they're saying. What they're saying is what I focus on. But, you know, I understand. You know, I mean, you know, Vanilla Ice got it 1,000 times worse than me. I just interviewed him today.
I'm so glad his story ended up well, you know? Like, I'm looking forward to that interview.
He's rich as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, yo, his car collection makes DJ Envy's car collection look like a Matchbox set.
I lived in Palm Beach for a while. And
yo, it's wild. And we only saw a small piece of it.
Yeah, they know all
We saw a small piece of it. And it was like, God damn. Like one of the cars, like I said, this is $3 million. This right here is and I got the paperwork. And I'm never going to sell it. And I have in my will, my kids are going to inherit it and they can't sell it. And they have to maintain it.
Yeah, it's a different level.
He has hundreds of homes, I believe. He didn't tell me the number, but it sounded like hundreds of homes that he just buys, that he just keeps vacant.
What the hell?
That he's just passing down to his kids.
Interesting.
He has a massive real estate.
Yeah, he's been in Florida for a while. He knows what's going on.
Like a real portfolio.
Yeah, like his portfolio is no fucking joke. And you know what's crazy is so the song Ice Ice Baby illegally sampled the song Under Pressure, which is by David Bowie and Freddie Mercury from Queen.
Under pressure.
So, yeah. So at the time, you know, no one cared about sample clearance because hip hop wasn't big enough, wasn't making enough money for anyone to care. But then this song goes diamond, so suddenly this is a big deal, and the songwriters
Money's being made. Wait.
yeah, the songwriters rightfully want their credit and their money. So that he gets sued, and he realizes partway through the lawsuit that, you know something, I could just buy this song. So he did it. So now not only does he own, is now the song, the sample cleared, but he is now the sample owner as well.
Cleared it? I did.
Right, exactly. So every time Ice Ice Baby gets played or Under Pressure gets paid, he gets paid.
Wow.
He just bought the song outright.
I love that.
So if anybody else wants to sample Under Pressure again, they go.
They go to him.
Wow.
You see, that's some boss shit. See, that's the shit people don't talk about.
Yeah.
I ain't know.
That is, I love
That's
that.
the shit people don't talk about.
That's
That, that to me is impressive. Like, you know, you always hear about Michael Jackson buying the Beatles catalog.
Yep.
He bought his own catalog.
Only now are rappers starting to throw that around too.
Yeah.
You know?
But then a lot of rappers are selling.
You know what the narrative
true,
I
too.
hated is a lot of people commented when the post we had of Boosie going viral where he said he was gonna sell his catalog for whatever. They're like, there's no way anybody would pay for Boosie's catalog. Wild to think that
You could do so much with it too.
People don't know shit about the industry.
First of all, Wipe Me Down is going to be a commercial one day.
The Charger.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I mean, the catalog is worth, you know, a lot of people like to say, oh, they're so stupid for selling their catalog, they should keep it. I mean, at the end of the day, it becomes a math equation, right? So if your catalog is making $1 million a year and someone offers you $100 million for it, and you're 50, are you going to live to 150?
Right.
Yeah.
Or are you going to take that 100 million, put it in the S&P 500, or put it right now you're getting 5% interest rates from like an Apple card, and make $5 million a year.
Come on.
You could take that 100 million, right? So instead of making $1 million a year, you could put it in a regular savings account now and make $5 million a year and still have the original 100 million on top of it.
Yeah.
But they're stupid, right? Because it's just a bunch of people that are talking that don't know what the fuck they're talking
Why would
about.
you do that? It's your art.
Well, what's
It's your life's
what's
work.
the incentive of the I guess venture capital buying the catalogs in the first place?
I think what they're doing, the way it got explained to me, because I mean, at one point we were going to not sell the Vlad TV catalog, but license it out for a certain number of years. Like publishing deals hit YouTube at one point, and we were offered a big multi-million-dollar chunk of money to license the catalog for a certain number of years for a bunch of money up front and so forth, which we ultimately ended up not doing. But to answer your question, these companies, there's so many streaming services now. There's so much content being created, you know, so many new ones, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Tubi, you know,
HBO,
Paramount,
yeah,
HBO Max, Stars, Apple. We could go on for another 20 minutes about how many streaming services there are, and everyone's creating content, and everyone wants music. Not just any music, they want certain music. They want the big songs and so forth. Yeah. So I think what these companies are trying to do is they're trying to buy up as many of these big songs and these big catalogs as possible to become one-stop shops for all these streaming companies. That's the way I had it described to me. No, I'm an outsider. I have no music catalog to sell. Yeah. So it's like if you want to go and get, all right, look, we're about to drop a major Disney movie, and we want some Led Zeppelin, and we want some Rolling Stones, and we want, you know, Patti LaBelle, and we want Shaka Khan, or whatever else. We could just go to, like, Hypnosis, and they have all that shit already.
One dealer.
One dealer, one set of deals. You're not
Now you're having a relationship.
As opposed to
get...
like, okay, now we got to go work it out with Shaka, which is a fucking nightmare because she don't want to clear shit. And she wants $1 million up front for every song. And okay, now we got to go work with this other company that owns 3 of the artists that we want, but none of the other artists. And it becomes very cumbersome, and there's a lot of work involved and everything else like that. You know, these one-stop shops are feeling, they feel like, okay, if we just kind of overpay and we monopolize, we're going to do better in the long run. And that may or may not be true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
said
my
something
business.
interesting. You said overpay. 'Cause I was thinking that too. Maybe like we're in an era of a bubble where these catalogs
Possibly.
are being overvalued.
Possibly.
So people are like, you know what? Let me go ahead and sell.
We
now
were in
before-
a podcast bubble. If you think about it, right? I think Gillian Wallow were the last ones to get in on that bubble before it popped. They were the last. I don't know what they got.
Did Cam and Mace get a good one recently?
No, Cam and Mace got a sponsorship deal,
Oh,
from what I understand, which is different. But like, the deals of Spotify giving these big checks, like the Joe Rogan checks. Academics was part of that. He had a deal with Spotify. I'm not sure if it's still going or not. Spotify was talking to us. I remember about a year ago, they reached out to us. They want to do this big licensing deal of getting our whole back catalog and then also working out some shit where maybe we drop shit with them first and everything else like that. And then it was dragging on, and then suddenly it was like all the deals are over because they overpaid for a lot of these podcasts.
Damn it, Joe Rogan.
I don't know whether Joe Rogan earned his money back or not, but they paid a fuckload of money for Joe Rogan. Yeah. So they overpaid for a lot of these properties that ended up not really earning back what they paid for it. And ultimately, when the economy started to contract, it was like, all right, we got to take this a little bit more seriously. We got to be a lot more picky. And essentially, all the deals dropped, including our deal. Wow. Then they circled back with us with some bullshit that we were like, all right, it's not even a conversation.
Today's price, yesterday's price.
Were they getting video and audio, or just?
It was going to be video and audio. Yeah, it was going to be both.
Because is there a lot of?
They're trying to be a video platform as well.
I see that.
Yeah,
I'm curious as to.
Yeah, they're trying to be a video platform as well. I mean, why wouldn't they? Yeah. Streaming, it doesn't matter what you stream. It's just ones and zeros. So whether it's audio or video, it's the same shit. As well as trying to focus in on original content that's not music, that's longer form, that gets people more engaged and everything else like that. I mean, listen, they got Joe Rogan off of YouTube and primarily on Spotify. And I'm sure they brought a lot of fans, but whether or not they earned back what they paid him is questionable. I don't know. And ultimately, if you notice, since Gillian Wallow, name another podcast that had a big deal. None. Not a single one. Because that's just what happened with the industry. It's a bubble, there's a lot of excitement, everyone overpays, and then, when the water comes out, you see who's naked and who's wearing swimming trunks. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully there's another one and we're there to catch it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know who you obviously broke the Keefe D story, and you had Suge Knight come out and speak on it, and now he's starting his own podcast from jail.
Suge Knight said free Keefe D, right?
Yeah, he said like he wasn't the one who did that or something. Or some bullshit.
He also said Tupac's on an island somewhere. So
did he say that?
This is like what? You're talking about back in the day, right?
Way back.
He also said they, injected Eazy-E with AIDS, and
Yeah.
Suge Knight knows how to create a lot of chaos from his words. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he also said that Akon, raped a 13-year-old, and Akon's like, I'm going to sue.
That was his first podcast.
Yeah, that was his first podcast, being done from jail. What
do you feel about him trying to jump into the space from jail?
Why not?
Yeah, let's see it.
Why not?
Let's see it.
Listen, there's a lot more competition. Like I said, 2023 was a little bit tougher for us because there's a lot of factors, and the competition was a factor, which is why we had to rethink a lot of things. We had to create different types of content. The house walkthroughs was the cars was one of them.
Nice.
you know, as well as having other interviewers on the
That
platform.
was amazing, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, like Sean Prez is a very, a very effective interviewer that's interviewed a lot of people, that has his own regular guests on the show. My man Cavario, who did a lot of work with Don Diva, you know, he does a lot of the gangster interviews because he comes from that background. You know, Coach PR does a lot of sports stuff for me. You know, some of that worked. I mean, some of it didn't quite work. The Gloria Valez stuff didn't work. You know, Saigon and Havoc did a few podcasts that didn't really react, unfortunately. I thought they would, but, you know, you just never know. You never know what does work and what doesn't work. You have to fail along the way. You have to try out some shit and have it not work a few times and realize, okay, well, maybe this is not what it is. But, you know, there is a lot more podcasts because technically anyone could do one.
This boost in podcast, is there a correlation between that and the pandemic? Everybody being home and let's get in front of a computer. Let's put on the mic.
I feel like there's more after the pandemic than during the
Well, that's what I mean. 2 years later, here we are, and there's a lot of podcasts.
Well, listen, you know, people see the success of someone doing something that they think they could do, so they try it. And some people actually are good at it. And that's just the reality of life. People look at, you know, they're going to look at Danza Project and say, I could do that.
Yeah.
And they may be able to do it. And now you have one more competitor that you just have to deal with. And it just is what it is. Like, look at how many rappers there are these days. Like, look at how much music gets uploaded on a daily basis because they see the you know, they see someone like a Playboy Cardi that doesn't seem traditionally talented. You know what I'm saying? That has just a style that people gravitate towards. But it's not like, oh my God, like Playboy Cardi is such a lyricist. Like I can't do what he does. No, he just has a style and he has a look. And he's been embraced and co-signed by the A$AP Rockies and the Travis Scotts and whoever else. Yeah. And now he's a major star and people like,
he's got a cult.
He's got a cult following. Yeah. You know, like a Yeet. You know, another one of these dudes that like.
It's so wild, yeah.
From the outside looking in, it's like a lot of people could do that. So a lot of people try to do that, and some people become effective at doing that. So you get a lot more competition, and you know, like I didn't see Yeet coming, but now he got the biggest song on Drake's album is the song with Yeet.
So
right? Crazy, right? So there you go. So yeah, man, you're gonna have a lot of that, and that's just life. Yeah, people aren't following unsuccessful people. Yeah, people are like, yo, like, I want to be like that unemployed motherfucker who sits around doing nothing all day. That's what I want to do. I wanna move out of my apartment, move back in my mom's house, and ask her for money every day. Yeah, you don't see that. People will do that. Yeah. But they don't aspire to it, and that's the thing. I remember Too Short in my interview was like, yo, like this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to put out these slang words and these styles and these beats and these rhymes, and we're supposed to influence people to do this. And hopefully, the people will recognize our, you know, the inspiration and the contribution, and you know. Some of them will say that out loud. Some of them won't. Some of them will work with us and want to work with us and reach out. Some of them won't. Right. They don't owe any of this, but we put that out there to create this effect. You know, I think it's dope. Like, I'm not a hater. Like, I think it's dope that academics and Sean Cotton and No Jumper and everything else like that tell me that I had some sort of influence on them. Like I think it's dope. I love it. I love that they are successful at it. I've never asked them for anything. I don't feel I deserve anything from their success. You know, and if we could collaborate and we could keep it going, I think that's great. And with a lot of, you know, these groups of, you know, these successful people in my field, I have collaborated with them and I have built relationships with them. But that's what I'm supposed to do, right? Yeah. I'm supposed to change the narrative. I'm supposed to push the envelope. And being the first, you will take the arrows and the criticism. only for years later for everybody to do it.
He's a genius.
You know what I'm saying? Like, am I really do I ask more police questions than some of these other, like, you know, big podcasts? You know what I mean? Like, are my questions really that drastically different from Nori? Drastically different? Not really.
Right.
He has his own style.
It's just a curiosity.
There's certain things that he may not be comfortable asking, and there's certain things that I may not be comfortable asking that he's asked. But overall, there is a similarity in the style. You know, I know that he watches my shit, and I watch his shit. And it's all good. Like, you know, and everyone continues, and everyone thrives, and everyone builds, and some of us collab, and some of us don't. And we try to all be respectful whenever possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you do a lot of winning, a lot of it.
Yeah, I've also done a lot of losing. So
you know,
for sure.
all the winners lose.
Yeah,
all the winners lose.
That's
it's
why he's so chill about it.
Yeah, not every interview does great. Like we lose money on a lot of interviews. You know, not the majority, but because I feel like I've gotten better at eyeballing it these days. But like there's certain things like, you know, based on what we invest in it, we don't make that back sometimes, and that's okay. Maybe not now, maybe sometime in the future, maybe never. Who knows? Who knows? But you get back up at bat and you try all over again the next day. Yeah. And you learn from your mistakes. You try to do a little bit better. You try to make better decisions.
Pivot.
But yeah, I've done a lot of losing. I've done a lot of, you know, shit that like, all right, I ain't do that shit again. Then I'm not going to interview this person again.
Barry Sanders had the most negative rushing yards ever. I think Kobe Bryant was had the most missed shots or something like that. Like, this is normal. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're the greats. You're supposed to get up there and be able to lose and be able to swing and miss. Yeah. This is normal. You know what I mean? Yeah. The last question I don't like keeping people forever, but the last question I do want to ask you is a question that we ask all of our guests. Life is grand. It's not just that little 1 to 10 scale, the small scale. Hey, where are you at in life? This is a huge thing in front of us, and you've accomplished a lot. Out of a 0 to 100, where do you place yourself at in the scale of life?
Right now?
Yeah.
I have far exceeded my expectations. Right? Like, if you would have told me as a hip-hop fan at 25 years old that I would have a media company that's bigger than The Source and XXL combined, I would think that's a silly concept. You know what I'm saying?
Playing with me.
These are, you know, the Bible of hip-hop, and then XXL came and sort of took that crown. I didn't think. I just wanted to be part of hip hop. Like really, like I remember when I said, okay, I'm really going to devote myself to this, and I'm going to do. My parents weren't with it. My friends didn't really understand it. This was something within me. I just wanted to be part of hip hop. One of the influencers, I guess, is what you would call it now. Back then, there wasn't really a word for it, but just part of it. You know, and I remember getting those early tastes of, okay, this is a mixtape that was impactful and people fuck with it, but it's a very mixtapes are a very small part of the landscape of hip hop. They're essentially bootleg projects that kind of, you know, don't really move the needle and so forth. But like, I just wanted to be a member and be a contributing member and an influential member, and I didn't know how to do it. And I spent a lot of years, you know, I mean, before Vlad TV, you got to think, like, Vlad TV launched in 2008. I became a full-time DJ in 2001. So 7 years passed of me just trying shit.
Yeah.
Mixtapes, DVDs, DJing, you know.
Gigs on gigs.
Trying DJing in strip clubs. That was, you know, in a fucked up strip club in, you know, New York, where the owner yelled at me in front of all the girls like I was a bitch, you know what I'm saying? And then saying, yo, man, like I don't talk to you that way. I don't expect you to talk to me that way. He's like, I don't give a fuck what you expect. I'm like, fuck this job. Like I'm
out of here.
Yeah, I'm out. Like I'm thinking, yo, like it's fine that you don't see my vision, but I know I'm meant for more than this. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to be part of it, and I just wanted to be important in it, and I wanted to be, impactful. I didn't know how I was going to do it. Right. And at 2023, to have the role that I have, you know, like outside of hip hop, people don't really know who I am. Right? Like I could go to like I could be around a lot of white people, for example, and no one has any clue as to who I am.
Really?
I'm not like...
Because you've done cultural interviews outside of hip-hop.
I've done a lot. But still, what I'm telling you, of just me moving around this world, like if I'm around, a group of like black men, which is kind of my core audience, I will be recognized. Yeah. I will be approached and asked for pictures, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Say, the person will have a conversation, tell me how, yo, I love this Boosie interview, or I love this or that, and they'll sometimes comment or whatever else. Like inside, these are hip hop fans. Like if I'm around a bunch of hip hop fans, white, black, Asian, Indian, whatever else, they'll all know who I am. If I'm around a bunch of just mainstream, like if I go to a rock concert, I probably won't be recognized, right? So knowing that I've made the impact in this hip hop community, where I am right now exceeded where I thought I would be, because this is a hard place to be at. And it took a lot, like I said, in 2008, people thought that I was wasting my time doing this. I was working on my first documentary, and the owner of the label I was working with was like, yo, this YouTube shit's a waste of time. I don't know why you're doing it. There's no money in it. You need to just keep working with these studios and doing these projects. That's how you make the real money. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I think I have an understanding of where this is going. So to be where I am, and for Vlad TV to be part of the fabric of hip hop is farther than I expected. And to keep pushing the envelope and so forth, but I would definitely put it at 100 or 130, because I didn't expect that I would make it this far and have the impact that I had. Now, would I love to be 10 times bigger than what I am right now? Absolutely, and I think about that daily, about how do I expand and how do I improve and how do I jump up. But those are very hard things to figure out, and it doesn't just come like that. There has to be some planning behind it, and there has to be some intelligence behind it, because you could lose it all trying to do that. You saw it with The Source. The Source went and brought, because I've interviewed Dave Mays about this, and Benzino as well. The Source has they took a bunch of outside funding to build thesource.com. There was no expertise. Dave Mays didn't know computers for shit. Benzino definitely didn't know computers for shit back then.
Definitely doesn't know computers now.
Probably doesn't know them today.
Shout out Benzino.
And they burned through millions of dollars, right? And then when, based on the contract they signed, the only thing they had left was the name. And the company that invested with them took the name and essentially did a hostile takeover. And this is how Londell McMillan ended up acquiring The Source. They lost the entire company trying to leapfrog to the next level poorly. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And now Londell McMillan, who used to be Prince's attorney, owns The Source, and it's in the trash can ever since he bought it. It's gone nowhere. Yeah. Name me one thing The Source has done in the last 10 years. Name me one thing. Has it ever gone, a piece of content they put out? They really just don't even create original content. They just aggregate other people's shit. They've done nothing. The Source used to be the Bible of hip hop. A 5 mic rating in the Source guaranteed you a record deal. You were 100% guaranteed to get a record deal from a major label if you were an unsigned hype. Shout out to my man Matty C, who was part of that. You were guaranteed. Biggie, Common, Mobb Deep, Eminem. These are all people that came up through unsigned hype because it mattered, because it was a big deal, and the people behind it knew what the fuck they were doing, and it was a powerful position, and it wasn't taken lightly, and it was they didn't call it the Bible of hip hop for no reason, because it really was that. A 5 mic rating was a big deal. It would boost your record sales. It would let people know this potentially is a classic album. I
remember reading it, and you'd look forward to that section.
You look forward to that section, right?
Yeah,
and
like
then
the favorite part of a song, you're like, oh, here we go.
And it got corrupted when Benzino's group was given an extra mic because of his relationship with Dave, and a lot of the staff quit, and then that's how Double XL got launched, right? So what I'm saying is that like that brand is dead now. Double XL, the only thing they're known for is the freshman issue. Outside the freshman issue, it's a dead brand.
Never hear about it.
It's a dead brand. Now the freshman issue, congrats. It's still kind of a big deal, and I get it, but that's only once a year. If I dropped important content once a year, I'd be broke as fuck. So what I'm saying is that like you have to, you could lose it all very quickly. Double XL got sold to some Spanish media company or some shit like that. Yeah, man. Like I was thinking about buying Double XL.
Wow,
completely.
I was talking to the publisher about buying Double XL at one point. I'm glad I didn't. I don't think I would have been able to do anything. I don't think I would have been able to turn it around. But it's one of those things where you gotta. It's not easy to build and to jump up and to create something and then not lose it all in the process. So you have to move conservatively. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. And the companies that are stuck around for a while, they realize that. And year after year, it's a war to try to create this content and run a profitable company and make sure that you keep it together with all the headwinds.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Hopefully that's a long,
long
answer.
Great answer.
It's the greatest that question's ever been answered.
Really?
I think so.
But it makes sense like that. Vlad would be the one to break it down like that. You know what I mean? Now I got a whole new standard of when people answer this question of how I believe it should be answered. So maybe I'll rephrase the question for a couple people.
But yeah, I mean, look, like. Would I love to be a billionaire? Like, of course. Like, I had lunch with Grant Cardone yesterday. He's worth like $7 billion. Like, I'm walking into his big fucking office building, and the streets are named after him. He's like, I own that building across the street.
Next time you come here, we need to go hang out with you.
Let me show you this. Let me show you this high rise in Chicago I'm about to buy for $150 million. And I'm hanging out with Vanilla Ice, and like he owns. Like I remember we roll up to his house, and he's like, oh no. The house next to mine, come over here, and the houses are connected. He owns both the houses, and then the third one he owns as well, and he doesn't even really live there. He got a whole other house on the beach, and he got some shit on Star Island, and he's just talking about racing boats with Pablo Escobar and all this wild shit. Listen, I would love that. I would love to have that type of lifestyle.
This is the ritual. Oh, you got to do the fist bump,
baby boy, Junior. Look at this. Let me get it right hand. Let me get it right hand.
So cute.
Wait, you still got food in your mouth, Baba. Yep, you gotta eat your food.
What's up, Michael?
Oh, love it. Love it.
Yeah, this ritual. I can't let him go. He's got to get have the pictures and then there's my daughters in there. She's brewing up.
I love it.
I got about a little month.
I love it.
Month left before I have a daughter here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you,
nice
baby.
meeting you. Bye-bye, baby.
Bye, Junior.
Now he's pissed. He's like, bring me back. Don't take me out.
All the cool guys are in there.
Yeah, man. But look, I would love to reach another level financially. And maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't happen. But I've far surpassed what my parents have done by a lot. I've surpassed my whole family.
Nice.
All my cousins and whatever else, like, we all came over at the same time. I became the one that became the most successful, that made the biggest impact, that had the most amount of fame and everything else like that, which is probably why I don't get along with most of them. But, you know, well, actually all of them. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, yeah, I would love to get to that next point, but I've surpassed the dreams of what I had.
Wow.
You know, not only financially, but impact wise, as being part of hip hop and walking around and seeing the love. Like the funny part is that you gotta be able to understand the separation between the online comments and what really happens in real life. You would think that I'm so hated, and everywhere I go, people are jumping at me and I have to whatever. Like, you know, my man Jake, like how many people approached me today for pictures? Like, yeah, like, and I'm not like, I haven't been in Miami in like 10 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like Miami's sort of this main base for me. Like Fort Lauderdale, I'm like, oh shit. Like, you know, and like, that's the real shit. Like the love and the admiration and everything else like that. Like I never expected a lot. I was getting that as DJ Vlad, the mixtape DJ, you know? And so it's dope, man. It's dope. I didn't think, like, this shouldn't have been me. I should have been a computer programmer. Thinking that someday, I should have done, you know, because that's like I feel like with my mother, there's a certain level of bitterness because she has a certain level of musical skill, right? Like, I remember as a kid watching her replay certain songs on a piano, like, you know, like some shit I could never do.
Yeah.
And she still does little musical shit. And I feel like in the back of her mind, she thinks that she could have become some major musical act. You know, now me being around real serious musicians, like interviewing Shaka Khan or you know, Johnny Gill or whatever, you know that, like, my mom doesn't have that ability. Like,
no offense, mom.
No offense, mom, but she doesn't have that level of skill that I've seen. Like, some of these voices are just like, or some of these, you know, like the Rodney Jerkins or the Dallas Austins or the Teddy Rileys are just musical savants. Yeah. Like, what they do and what they create, regardless of how many kids they have or what's going on, is something on a different level. Like, my mom doesn't have that, unfortunately, but I think that there's a certain level of bitterness that she never tried to pursue that.
A lot of people have that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have been the next big thing, but, you know, but I had a kid and I got married and I moved to America and whatever else, and I never got to pursue it. And I'm still trying to do a little something, but there's a level of bitterness. Like, I knew I would have that. I would feel like I could have been big, something, you know, as much as I love hip hop, I would have felt that I could have done something impactful and major in this art form, but instead I was too scared. I was too conservative. I was going for the money. You know, you live in Silicon Valley, essentially. There's a lot of tech money around. I had no problems getting jobs or even, you know, building companies around that, but that wasn't my real passion. And I knew that if I didn't pursue it, I would always kind of hate myself, and I would always think, what if? But I did pursue it. I invested, I gave up a lot of my life. I lived in squalor. I lived in, you know, a one-bedroom fucked up apartment, you know, a studio apartment in Borough Park in Brooklyn. You know, I lived on Flatbush. I went without for a long time because I felt that, well, I got to at least give this a try. I got to at least try and see if I could accomplish this. And maybe I'll fail.
Yeah.
And you know, you reach, you know, there's a lot of opposition along the way of people that don't want you to pursue what it is that you're doing because they're fearful of their position.
Or they didn't do it.
Or they didn't do it. So you know, you try to work it out. And you try, like, you know, you try, and sometimes you fail, and sometimes you don't know where it's gonna lead you, which is why I don't have a lot of sympathy for, people in hip hop that once their run is over for whatever it is they do, whether it's rap or production or whatever, they haven't figured out a way to pivot. You know what I mean? In entertainment in general.
Yeah.
You're not an A-list actor anymore, but you could be a director. You could be a producer. You could be a talent agent. You could be a manager. There's a lot of stuff that you could do with the connections that you have. And if you just choose not to do it and you complain that you're not being compensated the way you want to be compensated, but you're not working, trying to figure out ways to pivot, I don't have a lot of sympathy for your situation. Because you could do other shit. Right. But, I had to pivot a lot. Started out as a mixtape DJ. Started as a club DJ to a mixtape DJ to DVDs to Vlad TV.
No raps? No Vlad raps?
I tried rapping at one point, in college. Yeah, I sucked.
Do you have any of that stuff?
Thank God I don't. Thank God. This is the age before camera phones. Thank God. Thank God. I was horrible. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be realistic. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever.
Was your rap name Vlad?
I don't even think I had a rap name. I was just hanging out. I was just hanging out with rappers. So you take your shot at, but it's not my thing. It's not my thing. I thought maybe production was my thing. Production, DJing, breakdancing. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of shit I tried, I just wasn't great at, and I always figured. But I tried, and I feel like you will eventually find the thing that you're great at. Everyone's great at something. But you also have to accept that if you're mediocre. And I knew, like, if I stuck with production, I'd probably eventually get some placements. And that'd be the end of that.
Yeah, not enough
it's not. I wasn't Dre. Something about Dre is different. And man. So you gotta figure it out.
Gotta pivot.
Word.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's the key of the podcast.
Pivot and do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
Whether you like it or not. You're gonna have to work.
Well, Vlad, I appreciate you greatly for coming up here. This has been one of those legendary podcasts. I would hope it's I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna be doing my thing, right? That's just who I am. But I would hope that we could actually have you as one of our guests that want to come out to Miami. A couple times a year, bring you out here,
work it out,
chop it up.
Yeah, I don't get out to Miami much. Like the last time I was supposed to come, I had to cancel my trip, and that's why I hit you out as soon as I found out. I can't make it this time, but the next time I come out, I'm gonna let y'all know because I don't waste people's time and so forth. And
we appreciate that.
I had another trip that I planned out, and I'm like, if y'all want to do it, I'll try to work it within my schedule.
Yeah, we were worried. I'm like, damn, Keefe D's trying to take out Vlad. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you greatly.
La Granja next time.
Right?
All right. Yeah.
So this is episode number what? 149?
149.
149.
Yes,
We're
sir.
checking out. We were live the entire night with DJ Vlad.
Yeah, y'all.
Let's get it.
For that mosquito,